version of this just yet.
It's so good though.
Looks like we got 9 people out there like waiting.
Hello?
So
Yeah, we are live?
I'm not sure yet.
Okay,
We'll
yeah.
see.
It says live. Woo!
It says live up top. I don't know if we're actually live. Yeah, we're live. All right, cool.
Yay!
So, hey
Did
everybody,
it.
just waiting around for us. So we're just doing our pre-show like loadout and everything, and getting ready to engage in the conversation here. So thanks for being with us tonight. So I'm gonna play the intro, and then we'll go ahead and get formally started. So yeah, all right. See you on the flip side, guys.
You're listening to the Popoto Pub Final Fantasy XIV podcast with your host, Popo Jagaimo.
All right, well, lolly ho, everyone. Welcome back.
Hello.
It's been a hot minute. To the Popoto Pub Final Fantasy XIV podcast. This is episode 11 and the first time that we are ever recording this live. So if you have things to share and talk about, we'd love to engage in your conversation here. I'm here with who was my very first guest on the show, and I figure who better to have on the show to relaunch it and go live with it than my dear friend Sarah Jane. So if people don't know
Hello.
who Sarah Jane is, care to introduce yourself to the people?
Yeah, I'm Sarah Jane. I'm a Final Fantasy XIV content creator, full-time on Twitch. I upload to YouTube like every single week. It's literally my love, my passion. I love 14 and I love to create content about it. We are very much advocates for the Materia data center since that was released. It's super exciting for OC to finally have a place to belong. So yeah, if you want to talk to me about Australian servers and, like, the community around that as well. I love to talk about that. It's super exciting after, like, what, like, 8 years, I think, of not having the data center.
Yeah, it's hard to believe it's been 10 months since we originally launched this show back when I was still trying to figure out what the heck I wanted to do as a content creator and everything else. And I just randomly messaged Sarah Jane, had no idea like who she
Yeah.
she had no idea who I was. And I was just like, hey, do you want to join this podcast? She was like, sure, no problem. So I'm
Just
still
yeah.
eternally grateful to her to actually be my very first guest when I'm recording this show and launch the show and everything. So we haven't
It's fun.
chatted in a long time. So how have you been? What have you been up to? Obviously playing 14, but what
Yeah.
else has been going on in your life aside from 14?
Um, I started ice skating, if you care about that.
Nice.
It's super cool, yeah, no. But apart from that, literally just, like, grinding out 14, doing as much as I possibly can to like build a really strong community on the Materia data center because there is so much scarcity about people transferring from like their old servers and stuff to the new data center because it's like, oh, it's less people. I'm not gonna be able to use Party Finder. Like, there's so much fear around transferring. So I'm kind of like the person to try and encourage people that it's okay. There's communities, like we're keeping like this place alive and everything like that. Like that's our main mission.
Yeah. So how's it been since you've transferred to obviously last time we talked the oceanic servers weren't up yet, and
Yeah.
how's it been since the transfer? Has it been
Like,
refreshing and fun? Has it been like
yeah.
a little scary? Like do you miss
Mm,
some friends, and like what's been going on with that transfer?
yeah, yeah. It was definitely scary. Because you just don't know what you're getting like yourself into. And I was unfortunate enough that someone stole my name as I transferred over, which was like super unfortunate. I didn't believe it. I was like, "Wait, no. Like there is no way. Why would anyone be out to get me like this?" Like I was just so confused. Like there was like the biggest troll. So there was like a lot of conflict with that and I was a little bit upset at the time like but now it's just I don't care anymore. Even though it sounds like I do care.
I'm sure you
um,
do because
I
I'm still
yeah.
bitter. I'm still
Yeah.
bitter. And this is for you, for longtime listeners of the show. Like if you were around back in the early days of the show when I was just talking about Warcraft constantly. I guess there's maybe a Warcraft drinking game every time I mention it. But yeah, I had my Warcraft name reported and
What?
for
Oh,
not being RP enough. And the
oh,
name was
what?
Modem, MODEM. And one of my power hungry guild leaders decided to report it because he didn't like me very much for being not RP enough.
Come
And it was
on.
like, okay. So I had to change it to MODUM for the longest time. And it's been, I don't know, 14 years, something like that since that happened. And I'm still incredibly bitter because that was my whole identity in that game for a long
Yeah.
time.
Yeah. I just don't understand some people. I just don't get it, I really don't. But no, but seriously,
Streamers
like,
are a target. I mean, that's just
yeah.
part of the territory, right? Like, look at every time Asmongold tries to go into any type of new thing. Like, Asmongold's usually taken. He has to come up with some portmanteau of like Asmonbald or something like that every time he starts a new, game or new stream or anything like that.
Yeah. No, you're right. I truly didn't expect it, and it shocked me, like, dramatically. I have clips of it, I'm just like, "No, there's no way. It's glitching out. It's just a glitch." Like, just copium, like but no, Materia Data Center has been like, oh, it's so different. It is completely different because it's like I have people that are actually on at the same time when I'm streaming because like I stream like peak Australian hours, I guess, because it's like,
Mhm.
7 to midnight is when gamers are gaming. So it's good to have that community and the coolest thing is building a community that is, like, local, so then, like, I went to DreamHack, and I'm gonna be going to PAX, and there's gonna be people there that I can actually meet, and, it's more of like, a real life experience, and super exciting that Final Fantasy 14 is bringing, the booth back to PAX Australia again this year, so there's gonna be some really, really cool stuff happening, and I'm really excited about that.
Yeah, so you've been on the stage at some major gaming conferences
Yeah.
recently. How'd that go? Was that fun? Was it like nerve wracking?
Yeah,
Did you get good
it was
questions?
it was really fun. So it was at DreamHack. It was like a life as a content creator panel, and I was so nervous that I didn't think to like push my seat down. Like the chairs can go up and down, right?
Yeah.
And
As
the
a
seat
short
was
person, I
really
know that very well. I'm 5'4",
yeah.
so every chair must go to the lowest point possible.
Right. So I was sitting on this chair and my legs were shaking because I was just nervous. So I was like trying to like, put pressure on my legs because the chair was so high up I couldn't put my feet on the floor. So like it just felt so uncomfortable. But it was quite funny. Like I just laugh about it now. But it was super cool, like talking to like the other content creators that were there, like super insightful, just being around other people that are trying to do the same thing that you're trying to do, which is always like educational as well. Like you learn a
Mhm.
lot from each other, and it's just very inspiring.
Yeah, I gave a TED style talk once. It
That's
wasn't an
sick.
actual TED talk, but it was a TED style talk about how video games can make you a better manager and a better like employee and
Okay, yeah,
improve your work life, like the skills that you learn. And I got asked
yeah,
to do it at a conference, and that like shortly thereafter the pandemic hit and it ruined all those dreams and plans. But
yeah,
I'm so happy for you that you got to do that. Looks like we got
yeah.
a comment from Dante. I'm going to show it on the screen here. Who says, glad for everyone on Oceanic DC. Still remember the
Ooh,
landslide Titan memes back when the
yes.
physical EU DC was in the US. It was a
Oh
hell
my
to play
god.
with that ping.
Yeah.
So
Thanks, Dante. Yeah, it feels so good because like I was so used to around like 180 to 200 ping. Like it's just what I was used to. So like going from that to like 25 to no, it's like 28 to like 30 ping is just so different. Like, you don't have to, like, second guess your movers and everything like that, you can just play without thinking, like, "I gotta move extra quickly," or "I gotta, like, do this," you know? So
I'm gonna get
it's
to
good.
experience that firsthand next year when I like basically moved to Japan for 8 months.
Oh my
So I'm gonna
god.
be playing on like NA servers in Japan, and it's gonna probably be a fun
Yeah,
time for sure. So
very
all right,
fun.
all right. Well, have you been playing anything else in the meantime before we like delve fully into
Um,
FF14?
I played Stray, that was awesome.
Oh, the cat game.
Yeah, that was
I,
so much fun, I love that. Yeah,
I haven't messed with the cat game at all, or Stray
you
at
should.
all. Maybe
Yeah.
because maybe because I'm just not that big of a cat person. Sorry,
Oh, come
I'm more of a
on.
dog person.
You
But
can't say that to my face.
Um, are we no
Owner of
longer
2
friends?
cats.
It's over.
Look, this is my cat's bed, like, literally right next to me.
The only Lucy said, "The only game SJ will remember will have cats involved." Just saying.
Yeah. McCody's, you know?
Yeah.
Maybe that's why I've played Final Fantasy for so long.
You play anything else other than Stray and 14?
Um, I tried the Overwatch beta. I tried that out, the first
Did
one,
you?
and it was, interesting. It didn't feel that different, to be honest. Like, it was fun when you got to play the new maps, but, apart from that, meh.
Yeah.
So I got bored, like, pretty quickly. What else have I played? Honestly, like, my time has gone into Final Fantasy. Like, that's where my time has, like, been sunk into. Oh, I got the, like, Nintendo 64 emulator on my Switch, so I played some old school Banjo-Kazooie, and that was so much fun. I love that
Mhm.
game. But, yeah, no, apart from that, literally just diving into 14 and trying to, make the most of the game, essentially. Because like, I eventually have goals of, like, having the mentor and, getting all my jobs to 90 and all that kinda
Mhm.
stuff.
You don't have the mentor crown yet? I'm surprised as long as you've been playing.
Yeah, no, because I used to just be, like, MSQ Andy. So, like, when I first started
Mm,
in, like, 2015, I would just, like, log in, do MSQ, like, chill, might try, like, a raid or 2, but I wasn't, like, fully invested into endgame content. So, yeah, so now I'm trying to do everything.
I got it really fast, believe it or and maybe it's because like, I obsessively run dungeons at the beginning of every expansion and got all jobs to max level and everything. So I had
Yeah,
plenty of opportunity to get commends, but my secret to it, number 1, play a Lala. Number 2,
true.
sidestep and dance and be cute at every dungeon exit and wait for everyone else to leave. You will get
Oh my
commends, I
god.
guarantee.
That's
So
some good tips, I like that.
I cute shame people into giving me commends, and I
Yeah,
think I'm up to like
and
1,400
play,
or
like,
something.
tank or healer, don't play DPS.
Yeah, I usually play tank or healer, so that
Yeah,
helps too.
I just, like, always play DPS, so I'm like, "Where are my commendations?" And the other thing, I always group up with people from chat, and, like, I've always party up, so, like, I never get to play with, like, random people, even, like, if I'm in Party Finder, you're in a party,
Mhm.
um, so, yeah,
Yeah. Well,
rest
I
in
mean, yeah,
peace.
it's like I'm a mercenary most of the time. I'm just like queue up and just go like play
Yeah,
over and over again. So that helps too, of course.
yeah, for sure.
Let's see here. Got a couple comments. One from Reaver Prime says, "My daughter loves Stray." Then again, we're a cat family, so that makes
Yeah,
sense. Make it
cat family
make
here.
a game about a dog that's a stray, and I'll play it for sure.
What breed of dog, though? That's the real question.
Yeah. Uh, my family's always had Shih Tzus, so like I guess
Aw.
there, some like real dog owners are like, that's basically a cat. Anything below 50 pounds is a cat, and I'm like, you're kind of right because the dogs do like to like jump on furniture and perch on stuff. I
Yeah.
had a really weird dream over the summer. This is like the most random story, but I had a really weird dream over the summer that I had a little girl Shih Tzu and she was black and white,
Yeah.
and I named her Tifa. And I woke
Decent
up the
name.
next morning and it was so real that I was like, "Where's my dog?" And so now it's like, okay, when I finally get a dog, probably after I come back from
Diva.
Japan, it's gonna be a
Look,
girl Shih Tzu named Tifa. So
maybe it's a premonition. You
it
had a
could have been,
premonition.
could have been. That'd be
And then when
freaky.
you actually get this dog, it's gonna look exactly the same, and you're gonna be like, "Holy shit, this deja vu is, like, killing me right now."
Yeah.
Let me
So,
know.
let's see here. Lucy wants me to ask you a question. So Lucy says, "Ask her about the time she finally tried a Savage E4S."
Ah, yes. That would have been around the same time we first talked, actually. Yeah, no, E4S was so much fun. Like, it was so different compared to the content that I was used to playing, if that makes sense. Like, I actually had to learn how to play my class properly. Like, I was just smashing buttons before that, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I had to look up, like, okay, how do I actually, like, do this? But we had a lot of help from Gerald Hart as well. He helped us out, and it was so good. I loved it. It was an experience, and the thrill of, like, killing Titan was just insane, and it just makes you want to do more for sure.
Yeah, I tried my first extreme, which was the Endwalker or the Endsinger.
How'd you go?
Um I think I joined for like 2 nights, and I was like, it was with my FC, and I was like, like, I don't know if I wanna get back into the hardcore, like,
Yeah.
raiding scene. Like, I'm still, like, in this kinda detox phase from my, like, mythic heroic WoW days.
Yeah.
And, you know what? It was surprisingly a lot of fun. Basically, I couldn't continue to make it, but, after 2 nights, this is gonna sound probably really sad, but, like, we got to 60% on it after 2 nights of
Oh,
prog. Um,
it's
but
okay.
but
Was
it
it
was
blind?
yeah, completely blind.
Yeah, yeah, no, totally fair then, totally fair.
And we had someone who was helping us, who had kinda done it before, but
Yeah.
it was really fun. I mean, one of the things that I found really, really fun about it was, I guess I never really understood how important it is to, like, or how much time is wasted when you are running back from, dying to a boss. Like in
Mm,
WoW, like you got to run, and sometimes that kills, like 3 minutes, 5 minutes, whatever it might be, and then you got to like potion back up and get your food buffs again.
yeah,
And most of the time it can be, and you don't even really notice it when you're doing it, I guess, but like it can kill like 7 minutes at a time, 5 to 7 minutes
right.
at a time between every pull. Whereas this was just like, all right, we died, like right back into it, like
Yeah.
10-second timer,
Go
go,
again.
and
Yeah.
I I really enjoyed that because it felt like there was no wasted time, and it felt like when we actually decided to take a break, it actually felt,
Mm.
like a break, like there was no wasted time during the middle of it. So,
Right, okay, yeah,
and Lucy said, "And Singer is a first extreme. You really went hard on that. That's the same level as Pandemonium Savage 1 and 2."
Right, yeah, no,
Um,
it's a really hard fight, for sure.
yeah. And hey, Josh, thanks for coming out. Dante said Ensinger wasn't a really good start into EX trials. Maybe try the new 6.2 one. I think it's way easier and more forgiving. Ensinger was a mess. I just did the new trial a couple of days, like last week, and it was
Ooh.
fun as heck. I mean, it was
Yeah,
it's a normal fight, but it was one of the more fun boss fights I've
I
experienced.
agree.
And
Yeah.
my
I
brain,
did like a reaction to it because it was so good. It was just
yeah.
oh man, like the mechanics as well. Like you just didn't really know what to expect, and yeah, so good. And you honestly try the extreme version. Try it. I think you'll really enjoy. If you love the normal version, I think you'd be able
Yeah.
to pick up the extreme and really enjoy it.
I think mechanically it's my favorite trial fight this expansion
Yeah.
for sure.
Yep.
Maybe not story and lore wise and all of that, but
Right.
from a purely mechanic fun standpoint, like it blows all three other fights out of the water in
Yeah.
my
Yeah,
mind.
I think so too. Yeah.
The funny thing was when I was on stream, my brain instantly went to like Khalifa from Dragon Ball Super the whole time because she's like green Super
Oh,
Saiyan, like kind of
right. Yeah.
Broly like. Um, and my whole like chat was like, "What do you mean it's Bayonetta, dummy?" And I'm like, "Oh, hair all over the place.
Yeah.
I got it." So the color schemes weren't matching up exactly the way that I thought it
Uh,
would. So
she looks badass though.
yeah, she does. Barbaricia. So all right. So what have you been up to in 14? Like what's been new there? Like what's been your new like fun stuff that you've been
Yeah.
doing since I guess really since 6.0, but I guess we can talk more
Mm.
about 6.2 and everything that's been going on with that.
Yeah. Well, you see, so like we had well, Static and I we had done like the P1S to P4S, like we got that done. So then there was like that little bit of a break in between, like the new Savages came out. So like between um 6.1 6.2 we were like let's do uwu because none of us have done ultimate rating before, so like hey, let's give it a go. So we're actually focusing on doing the ultimate raid before we actually dive into doing like P5S and stuff,
Mm.
just because it's something we want to accomplish together as a static, and it's a cool achievement to like get. I have so many people in chat be like, what do you get from doing this? I'm like, pride and ego, like the
Yeah.
title. And no, but you got a weapon as well. But obviously it's not BIS. So like it's literally just glam.
Mhm.
Um
Well,
so yeah.
let's be real. Glam is the end game,
Yeah,
right? So
glam is the end game, right? It's all that matters. But yeah, as soon as we've done with that, we're going to be going into P5S, which should be good fun. Looks good. I love the new carbuncle.
Yeah, my brain about melted. I was like, "Well, this is more, like, close in line with what a real life carbuncle is," because if you've ever Googled carbuncle and seen what it is in real life,
I
eh,
haven't. I haven't done that.
disgusting, by the way.
Really?
Yeah, I don't
Can I
wanna pull
Google
one
it?
up on the screen here
Can
and
I
make
Google
people
it?
puke. Yeah, go ahead and Google it. I want your reaction to what a just like carbuncle medical condition or something like that.
Or a skin infection that often involves a group of hair follicles. Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh,
Yep, and
okay.
I'm spitting on myself as you're looking at it.
Yuck. Okay, cool.
Yeah, it's like a medieval boil,
What?
basically.
Why did they call like the cute little carbuncle that?
I have no idea.
Surely does it carbuncle like translate to anything different in Japanese? Like, what is that?
I don't know. If I had to, I don't know what the actual Japanese would be. Karubunkuru, something like that. But proto carbuncle is based on the original carbuncle.
Oh
Oh,
yeah.
that's
There's
right.
so much
Thank
stuff
you.
from Final Fantasy 4. Yeah, yeah. It's like literally Final Fantasy 4 is like what we're diving into now.
Yeah, I
Like all
think
the characters and
Dante
stuff.
and Reaver pointed that one out. So yeah, it's yeah, like I have no idea. That's the most baffling thing to me. I guess if one of the original incarnations of Carbuncle was kind of a gross, like like I don't know, beefy boy looking, like poisony type of thing.
Mm,
Like I guess it would make a lot of sense. But then they
yeah.
decided, let's go like I'm looking at your Squirtle there in the background. I'm like,
He's cute,
let's merge
eh?
it with the cuteness of a Squirtle, and
Right.
then
I have a Charmander too. I mean, I have the little one.
oh, that's all right. Squirtle's better than Charmander anyway. So shots fired.
No. Charmander has feelings, you know.
That's true. I don't want that tail light to go out.
Oh.
I've been Team Squirtle since the OG Red and Blue days. So
I was
uh,
always Charmander.
where my sister was always Charmander. When you messaged me before the show too, I about died laughing when I was like, "So is there anything you want to talk about?" And you're like, "No, like everything's good." I'm like, "You're just like my sister." Like she texted me this photo of
Uh,
the two of like a brother and a sister, or actually it was a man and a wife, and she like changed it to brother and sister. Like man and wife, brother and sister can't decide on what to eat, so they die of starvation, and it's just two
yep.
skeletons sitting together. I'm like,
Yep.
yeah, that's pretty much it.
That's so good.
So what's your new like favorite thing? And obviously you've been doing the rating and everything, but what's your new favorite thing in like since 6.0? Is it? I guess I don't want to lead you into anything. So
6.2? So, can
anything
any
I say
guesses in
anything new in
chat?
6.1
Any
or
any
6.2.
guesses? Any guesses, chat?
Hmm.
I
Hmm.
know there's someone that knows for sure.
All right. I'll wait. I'll provide my guess, and then maybe some people in the chat will comment. So
Hmm.
my guess is island sanctuaries.
Yeah.
Okay. Too easy.
So good.
You
I
know what's
love it.
funny? I haven't even
Mm,
messed with it yet. And I was like one of
you
the biggest
gotta.
proponents of like, oh, like island sanctuaries are going to be the thing. And I think it's because I got a house and I was like, I'm messing around with this.
Yeah.
Um, but so how I guess no spoilers, but how are island sanctuaries? Like, what do you like about them? What does it do well? What
Uh,
does it not do well?
okay. What does it Okay, let's start with the not do well. Trying to think what I don't know if there is anything bad about it.
All
I
right.
can't think I
Moving
can't
on.
think of anything bad. Hmm. Actually, the one thing that I would change is that you could just teleport straight there because you have to always go to Morrobe Dry Docks to teleport
Hmm.
to the island, which is so frustrating. Like, just give me a teleport that takes me straight to my island, like, please. But
Yeah. That is
doesn't matter.
strange. That is strange. I
Yeah.
mean, even if it's not like automatically set as kind of like a favored place where you got a cheaper teleport or something. I mean, I'm surprised that they don't have one for that.
Mm.
There's a
So
lot
like
of
you have to. Yeah, I
weird
don't know.
things like that. Like, when you go to Baja and other stuff, like how you have to basically go to
Yeah.
I forget the name of the dock before you go to Baja,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, it's kind of the same as that. You have to go
yeah.
to that place and then you have to talk to like someone and that they take you there sort of thing. Um but yeah, apart from that, it's so much fun. Like I really enjoy gathering in the game. So it's literally just I get to gather for my island, which is really therapeutic for me.
Mhm.
And then there's your like granaries and your workshops, and you get to like renovate them so they all have like different levels to them. And I'm just building my lighthouse now at max level at the moment. It's level 10, which is cool. So I can see that them like adding more later on and
Hmm.
like expanding on the island potentially as well, which could be cool. Um, and you get to like capture the animals, and like there's rare spawns and stuff as well. Like capture the shiny ones like when they spawn, which is pretty cool. But yeah, no, it's been such a fun experience. And then you get to spend your currency on like, either glams or mounts or like whatever you want to spend it on. And there's some really cool looking mounts.
That's my first. I think that's my next stream topic that I'm going to do is I'm going to work on the unlocking the island adventures and getting into that. So would you classify it more closely as something like Harvest Moon or like Animal Crossing? Like what's the
Yeah.
closest comparison you can give to it to
I
another
reckon
game?
closest is actually like Stardew.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, because you kind of go out, you get the materials, and then like you can, go get your animals and like you tend to them, and because you literally like have to feed them and stuff like that as well.
Hmm.
Yeah, no, it's really fun. It's super cool.
Yeah, and congratulations to Nate here who says I just got my black today
Yeah.
after a week of fails. I don't know how difficult that is, but if it's like, Black Chocobos in any other Final Fantasy game, then congratulations because it's probably a major achievement.
Yes, let's go. I got my black sheep was first, and then I got the goober, and then I got no. Yesterday I messed up. There was like the rare. I can't remember what they're called. There was a rare on my stream last night, and I was like, oh my god, there it is, and I tried capturing it with the wrong like net sort of thing. And then it just ran away. It disappeared, like, because it's like a time-based thing, so, like, it only appears in the island for, like, I don't know, 3 hours or something, and it was just about to hit midnight, and it literally disappeared, and I was crafting, like, the different net for it. I was so upset. I was so mad.
It's
So
still
unlucky.
it's still amazing to me how much stuff there is in this game to do that is like not required and just kind of like off on its own, like in like
Yeah.
really deep systems too. Like
Yeah.
not just these kind of surface level things that like you have to do to keep up with the grind and the end game power source and everything. It's wild to me.
Yeah, it is.
And sometimes a bit overwhelming too, just
It can be.
the amount of different things, because like it does sometimes feel like, oh, like what am I going to do today? Like, do I want to grind on this thing or do I want to grind on that thing? And
Yeah.
it's that choice can be, I would say, sometimes a bit daunting
Yeah.
when you're not kind of progressing towards the same like progression path.
Yeah. It's like when you have too many options and you don't choose any of them because again, it's just overwhelm sort of thing. But
Yeah.
if you know like what you enjoy and like what maybe something you haven't like dove into yet or something like, try out something different, it's always fun.
Yeah. So what else have you been doing in the new patches? Have you tried Crystalline Conflict out at all?
Yeah. So
Do
I
you
tried that when it was first released and I really enjoyed it. It was good fun and I farmed up getting the glam because everyone's like, "You gotta get the glam, you gotta get the glam." So I got that.
Mhm.
But I want the healer one looks so cool, and I don't really play any healers. I got the casting one, but I was a little bit jealous of the people that got the healing one, to be honest, because it was just that little bit better.
Yeah.
But the only thing I can understand why they didn't do it was, like, you couldn't go into Crystalline Conflict with, like, a party. It was all solo
Mhm.
queue. So, like, I mean, like, Lucy and I, we would try and, like, go Discord and, like, try queue together sort of thing so we would pop
Yeah.
into the same game. But no, it was a really fun experience, and I got to, do some commentating of a Australian, like,
Oh, did
tournament,
you?
I guess. Yeah, and
Nice.
that was really fun, yeah.
Nice. I
It was
have
sick.
yet to participate in a tournament. So I made it all the way to Crystal.
Nice.
In is it I always flip them in my brain. Is it like is series the shorter ones or is it seasons or the shorter I think it's series, right? Like or the
Series, yeah.
shorter time period. So series 1 I made it to Crystal. I didn't really play in series 2. I think mostly cuz I was like capped on like the pseudo battle pass, right? And The
Yeah.
queue times got really weird in Series 2
Mm,
where, like, for ranked matches, like, sometimes it would say, like, longer than 30 minutes, and
yeah.
I was like, "Oh, like, I don't wanna wait." I mean, it was fantastic when, you could just more or less instant queue every
Yeah, when
time,
it was new, yeah.
and I probably would have made it to Crystal a lot faster had I not like played every single job in it multiple matches and then switched mains multiple times until finally
Yeah.
I ended on Dark Knight and I
Nice.
just started capping the circle every single time. And
Yeah.
that, it was a simple mindset: stay alive, cap the circle, finish off people who get close.
You had
And
your job. Yep.
I went on a
So
major
good.
tear there. I think I went on a tear like from like what's it, crystal platinum or crystal diamond platinum. So I went from like platinum to almost to the head to the top of crystal, like in a straight
With
win
Dark
streak.
Knight.
Yeah, it was
That's nuts.
it was the
There was a
greatest
few OP
feeling.
classes. I'm trying to remember now which like which jobs were OP.
I mean, Dark Knight's just hard to kill, right? Like that's
Yeah.
what, I didn't do the most damage or anything like that, but like just hard to kill and capping that point.
Mm.
My time on point was always like 5 minutes, or like 4 minutes and 45
You just
seconds.
didn't live. Yeah.
Right, right. I was like,
You
I'm
didn't
not
actually
going
use
anywhere.
your like WASD at all.
Basically, I just sat there and like hit what's it the like little, I want to call it death and decay, but like the little like
Yeah.
circular thing, and like stood in that heals you. You can use your big AoE and that heals you when it hits
Yeah.
everyone else. So it was a bit extreme in terms of just my ability to hold that point. And it was a blast. I mean, I really, last guest was Brian Ricardo, and he did some commentating and stuff. Like, I really want to get into the tournament side of that because I really really enjoy it. I think it's
Yeah.
so
I wouldn't
great.
play it. I'll just commentate. It's fun.
Maybe I
Because I
should set
never
up a
did the
tournament or
competitive
something.
stuff. I just did like casual gaming. So I always
Yeah.
say like I don't want to bring my competitiveness from Overwatch to Final Fantasy because I don't want to get tilted anymore. Like I'm done with that. I'm so done. And if I start being competitive about something, I will get tilted and I just
Yeah.
nope. No, thank
I
you. I
was
want to have fun.
I was starting to get a little bit tilted.
Mm,
But I think because I play a lot of other competitive games, like I play Fortnite, I've got like, I don't know, like 4 or
Fortnite.
5,000 victory royales or something like that in Fortnite.
Nice.
I was playing Apex through a good bit of the summer and everything, and that's like
Yeah.
even more intense than Fortnite.
Yeah.
But
Apex is hard. I reckon
the,
Apex is one of the hardest like BRs.
yeah, especially their main, like main game. Like I was actually playing arenas more than I was playing like the main like
Oh
survival
yeah,
battle
Arenas is
royale
still
stuff.
kind of new, I reckon. I remember
Yeah.
when that first came out. Yeah.
So I think I've got like a competitive streak, and I was liking having, this kind of side thing that was kind of, I would, people, I think there's probably different, thoughts on how tuned it was, but,
Yeah.
or it is. I find it fairly well tuned. Yes, there are some jobs that are better than the rest, but the fact that you can basically get a job up to like level 30 or level 15 and go right into it, and you're,
Yeah.
tuned how you're supposed to be, your gear doesn't have an impact, it's just
Yeah.
you play it.
Yeah.
And that to me was, because I always wanted to get into Warcraft arenas. And
Right.
every time I did, and they say, well, gear doesn't have a big impact in there. And I feel like it really does, because
Yeah.
I mean, go into a Warcraft arena without like, top tier gear and just get smoked by a
Yeah.
rogue
No,
or
yeah.
a druid who just moonbeams you to death.
That was me.
Um was that you? Like, just, I
So
mean,
much my
and you
Moonkin.
just melt, right? And here
Yeah.
you can't really do that. Here, like, everyone feels like, yeah, there's stronger jobs and less strong jobs, but like you feel like you're kind of on a level playing field at least.
Yeah. No, I agree. Yeah. I yeah, I don't know if I'll get back into Crystalline Conflict. But it's definitely something that's been, like, a little bit front of mind. It's like, "Oh, like, why haven't I played it again?" Like, I'm trying to think, like, why haven't I decided to actually play it again? Do you know what I mean? Like, is it because of all the other content that the game is releasing? Like,
Mhm.
maybe if Final Fantasy wasn't releasing so much content so regularly, I would still be playing that. Do you know what I mean? Like, doesn't it just make you think, like, what is it that makes you, like, stop playing something? Do you
Mhm.
know what I mean?
I
I
mean,
don't know.
it's a really good question. Like, and I
Yeah.
and I don't want to say like, is Final Fantasy 14 putting out too much content? because no, like we want all the content. Like, please bring it.
Yeah.
But it's amazing to think, like, in the 8 months post. I guess it's been more like 9 months since Endwalker released, like how much content there has been in
Content.
the last 2 patches. And
Yeah, so
you
much,
know
especially 6.2. Oh my god.
oh
Everyone was
yeah,
just blown away. Well, like, Island Sanctuary wasn't meant to come out until 6.25, and then they just, like, advanced it to 6.2, and I honestly didn't believe it when I had people, in my chat telling me, "No, 6.2." I'm like, "Nah, you guys are trolling me." Like, they all know I'm gullible as shit, like, they're just trying to troll me, but no, they were being legit, and I was like, "Okay, wow," like, I did not expect this at all. So huge props to the team, honestly, like, they're doing so much hard work.
yeah. Do you remember that live letter like 4 or 5 months back when Yoshi P asked everybody, like, please give us like 2 more weeks per each patch, and then he showed you like, this is why, and it was like, we're producing double the amount of lines, double the amount
Yeah.
of voice acting, double the amount of and I was like, oh well, yeah, that's completely understandable. It wasn't like we're
Yeah.
having internal problems right now and we're going to give you less content but we need more time.
No.
It was like our expansion for what we provide to this game has just ballooned so much that we need like 10% extra
Yeah,
time. And yeah, I mean
it's insane.
it's pretty wild like how much stuff there is to do in this
Reminds
game.
me of, just when they had to delay the Endwalker release and how upset Yoshi P was that they had to delay it, and, like, they announced on the live letter, and I'm just like, "Please stop crying, like, you're an amazing human being, like, you have no idea." Like, the people that were, like, upset were the people that had obviously, like, scheduled time off work and stuff like that, but, like, everyone else is like, "Please, like, don't be sorry about that, like, at all." You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, and I always like, just because of, like, my past of, like, playing Overwatch, like, I always compare, like, I played Overwatch for, like, 3 years straight with, like, no new content. So, like, to have something like Final Fantasy where I'm getting new content, like, every 2 months, whatever, like, it blows my mind. I'm like, "There's so much content," and then I see, like, other people complaining about, like, Final Fantasy and, like, not enough content and, running out of, like, content ideas and stuff. I'm just
Mhm.
like, "Bruh, like, you have no idea the
This is
content hell that I went through."
my first time really experiencing kind of like the end game raid loop in 14. Um
Okay.
and like seeing and feeling what that feels like, because everyone says like, oh, like when Warcraft releases a new raid there's like 8 or 9 bosses like all at once and this whole big new environment and everything, and
Oh,
like
okay, yeah.
people say like, oh, like 14's not the same because like you only get like 4 bosses at a time, whether that be the normal raid or the alliance raid that comes out each
Mhm.
patch. And I thought like, yeah, that does sound like like not as much content, right? Like it doesn't sound like we're getting as much content, but when you really think about it, it's really not. It's
Mm.
about the same in terms of just the raids. Like we're not talking about
Yeah.
all the other stuff that we also get, but like
Yeah,
just the raids,
exactly.
it really, I would say, kind of evens out in the end more or less. It might be slightly less, but like
Yeah.
what do we get? Like 3
We
new
get 12
trials,
of,
3
yeah, oh, yeah.
6
No.
trials per expansion total,
Yeah.
right? And then 12
Alliance
bosses for
raids
the
as well.
12 bosses for the normal raids, 12 bosses for the alliance raids. Um, and then your ultimates that release in there as well. And then I mean
DSR. Yeah, like,
every
that's huge, like,
in every patch we get more dungeons too. And
yeah.
I'm kind of sad that I don't get to run and this is probably gonna like make some people mad. I actually get sad like I don't run why am I even blanking on his name? The last MSQ in or dungeon.
Look, I've done it so many times, I can't think of the name of
But
it. Like, I
I
literally
wanna
ran it
say, like,
last
the
night.
end times, but, the dead ends, the dead ends.
Dead
I
ends.
get
Oh, the
kinda
dead
sad,
ends, right,
like, the dead
okay.
ends isn't in my rotation for, like, expert queue anymore because 'cause I'm like, "I
Oh,
love that
yeah,
dungeon so
okay.
much."
Right,
Um,
yeah. So I thought you were talking about the one that came out in 6.2.
no. I mean, that
Okay.
one's great too. I mean, that
Yeah.
dungeon's great too.
AoE spam.
Yeah. Like, we hit I mean, what do you get? So that's, like, at least 5 new dungeons, though it seems like we're gonna get more new dungeons this
I
expansion
reckon.
than in previous ones because we have the variant dungeon coming up,
I
and
was
we
just
have
gonna say.
the
Yep.
Criterion dungeon coming up too. And I mean, it's not from a Warcraft refugee. If anyone out there is also a Warcraft refugee or playing Warcraft and considering playing Final Fantasy 14, it does not feel like we are cheated on content at all, because before you know it, like, even if you take a couple weeks off, you play it, like, and then all of a sudden
Yeah.
before you know it, you've got a whole new 4 bosses that the fights are just fantastic. Like, yeah, there's ups and downs on some of the fights and whatnot. Like, I don't love like some of the Alliance raid fights, but you know,
Mm.
by and large, they're fantastic in terms of like their mechanics and fun.
Yeah.
Like we were talking earlier, the Barbaricia fight is
So good.
so
I
much
love
fun.
it. I actually really enjoyed Aglaya. Like I thought that was really unique with everything. It was awesome.
I like it thematically.
Yeah.
I think after doing it like every week, I was just kind of like, I'm
Oh,
done
that's
with
fair
this.
enough. Yeah,
Yeah.
okay, fair. But they're just from like farming it over and over.
Yeah.
So good. Like with the scales of the last boss and stuff. Oh, I love that. I thought it's just so unique. Like I've never, done anything like that. Like you literally had to organize your like an alliance raid, like, this many people on this side, this many people on this side, unless you got lucky and everyone just had to be on one side or something. But
Mhm.
it was just different. It was really unique.
I had one of my I can count the number of times I've been like trolled in 14 on like one hand. And I think it's been like 3 times. Um and that last fight in Aglaya was one of them,
Someone
where
moved.
someone would wait to move until the last second every single time just to wipe the raid, and they did
Oh
it like
no.
5 times. And
No.
people were quitting, like
Oh
like
my
it took us that
god.
long to figure out who was doing it and finally
Oh,
remove them. But that was one of the like 3 times in this game that I've been trolled or
wow.
been rude to. And it
Yeah.
was just
They literally
I
just had nothing
laughed.
better to do, hey? Yeah.
I laughed because like I wanted to get mad, but I mean, people would troll and do stupid
Yeah.
stuff in WoW all the time. And so I was
Right.
like,
You
all
just
right,
used
I
to
can
it.
handle this once in a while and it can kind of be a little
Yeah.
funny. But when it's like all the time, it's not
Nah, when
fun
it's
at
all the
all.
time, then like what's the point? What's the point?
Yeah.
It's gotta be balanced. Like I don't mind a little bit of memeing every so often, but like you said, if it's all the time, then it gets frustrating.
Yeah. So what do you think like we've got the new Criterion dungeon coming up in the point 0.5 patch.
Yeah.
I don't I think I've read a little bit. I haven't read too much, but like I think I may have come across like a little bit of drama around that. Like people are a
Oh
little bit
really?
like worried about the Criterion dungeon and what it's going to do to like 14 and everything, because it
Mm.
seems a bit like a Mythic Plus. And I don't know if you were playing
Yeah.
WoW in the days of Mythic Plus, but like
Yeah.
it seems a little bit like that. Like dungeons have a very kind community built around them, and people seem to be very supportive in dungeons because they are like very casual content intended for
'Cause
new
it's like part
people.
of MSQ, right?
Right.
So it's for casual players.
Right. And people, I think there are people that are worried that it's going to bring some level of toxicity to dungeons.
Right.
um I personally don't think so, because
I don't think so, 'cause it's optional.
I think the player base is stronger than that. So
Yeah. I
I don't
think
know.
they'll be okay because the people that do wanna challenge are the people that are going to be going into it. People that are casual players, they're not gonna touch it. Do you know what I mean? So it's like the
Mhm.
people with the same mindsets are the people that are going to be trying it out, and they're there to, like, achieve something. They're there to be a little bit competitive about it. I don't really see people going in and be like, unless they go with like a pre-made party or something, do you know what I mean? Then those people can take it more like less seriously or whatever if they just want to try it out with some friends. But the people that are going to be going in like solo and stuff, their mission is to like try hard. Do you know what I mean? So hopefully
Right.
you'd get that same group of people with that same like mindset.
Yeah, that's my hope too. So
Yeah.
I made this confession on stream a couple days ago. I I resubbed to World of Warcraft. Um,
It's okay. You're
I did it,
forgiven.
and I did it out of a sense of morbid curiosity more than
Yeah.
anything.
No, fair enough. No,
I
that's
I I
completely fair.
I
I did that
actually
with last expansion.
I actually did it for content. more than anything
Yeah.
else because
No, fair.
I want to run like some social experiments, and I've already kind of started on one.
Yeah.
I ran, it's funny, like I've probably been resubbed to WoW for 3 weeks, something like that.
Yeah.
And I want to say the total number of hours I've played Warcraft since I've resubbed has been like 2.5 hours. That's it. Because I haven't felt a desire to play it.
Yeah.
But the last
Wow.
time I did, I was like, I hadn't run a dungeon because all I did was I unlocked the Dark Ranger outfit, like the Dark Ranger skins and stuff for the elves and everything because I
Yeah.
wanted that. Um, but I was like, okay, I'm going to record myself off stream running my first dungeon in World of Warcraft in
Yeah.
over a year, like probably like 14, 15 months, something like that since I
Yeah,
last played
wow.
WoW.
Yeah, it's a long time. Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, I've played WoW so long it's like muscle memory. Like I have
Yeah, you don't have to
I don't have to
yeah, no,
rethink
you just
anything.
remember stuff. Yeah, I get that.
And it was just a normal dungeon. I was leveling my priest. And the instant I get in there, the tank zooms off, says nothing, zooms off. I'm still kind of like getting my bearings straight again. They've pulled all the trash up to the boss.
Oh my god.
And yet, yes, they were geared, right? Like they could handle this, but like everybody's health was dropping. Like people were dying because he didn't
Chaos.
keep aggroing all the mobs and everything.
Oh
And I was
god.
like, this is going exactly how I expected it to go.
This is why I'm recording.
Right. Like this is exactly what I expected to do.
Yeah.
And then we get to the end, like no one says anything. Like I said in the middle of the run, I typed out, I said, hey everyone, like, trying to be a nice Final Fantasy 14 player, right? I
Aw.
said, hey everyone, like it's been a long time since I've played, like, uh,
Can we
just
take
to
it
let
slow?
people know that I'm new, like maybe just to slow it down a bit because I
Yeah.
was healing. Um,
Yeah.
no one said anything. And someone just
So
like
different.
someone
It's so
randomly just typed a
different.
question mark, like, after someone died, like, there was no communication whatsoever. It was just like, "You all are
I
other
forget.
NPCs and and, like,
Oh
do
my
what I
god.
want because I'm the group leader here," right? And the
Oh,
dungeon,
yeah.
because that tank was really geared, only took, like, 9 minutes to get through,
Okay,
but
yeah.
and then the tank didn't say anything to anyone, automatically re-queued everybody, and said, like, "Let's do another one."
Ah.
And I just put my head in my hands and I said, I don't wanna. And I clicked decline, and then they sent me another one, like, you are gonna heal again for this next one.
Oh my
And I just
god.
logged out, and I have not logged back in since.
Wow.
And so like I the one of the main reasons I resubbed was because I want to like actually, like some of my early videos were very like memey on Ian versus Yoshi P and all this other
Yeah,
stuff like
I love that
cats and
content.
WoW,
Yeah,
right? Like
so good.
and I want to just like show people like when you're actually in the game and I'm actually recording my own footage and everything, like this crap happens all the time.
Yeah.
And I think people will find it very enlightening and eye-opening for sure.
Yeah. Literally, I think I've only had one bad experience in the last year of playing Final Fantasy, and it was one tank, and that was
Yeah.
it.
3, like I
One
said,
time.
3
Yeah.
3 for me. There was one in a dungeon where I don't know if it was a tank or someone was new in the like a sprout, and someone was kind of
Sprout.
being rude to them. I think the tank was
Aw.
new, and I was trying to help them, like about where
Yeah.
to go. It was like like I forget which dungeon it was. It was like, like one of the level 20 something dungeons.
Yeah.
And I was trying to help them where to go. They were lost. It's the one in the mines, with the slimes and
Mm.
everything else.
Yeah.
And this DPS just was just running ahead and just pulling everything and making it difficult for them. And I felt really bad, like because I could heal them,
Yeah.
but
You just wanna to like, you wanna make it a good experience for the new player, because like, that's what we wanna do. We wanna cherish these new people and show how amazing the game can be and how
right.
welcoming we are and how helpful we can be, like, not to just abandon them and let them, be confused and stuff. So, like, you're doing the right thing, but it's sad that the other people didn't think to do that as well. Do you know what I mean?
Well, I mean, 14 has made me a better person. Like it has. It's made me a better
Aw.
gamer. Because, like,
Yeah.
I was very much, like, in that, go, 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 go mindset when I was playing WoW and everything. I would have been that tank,
Yeah.
Um,
You
and
wouldn't
instead,
care.
yeah, I was like, although I'm when I tank, I always like to go a little bit slower than most people, but I would have
Yeah.
been like, if I knew I was that geared, I would have just done probably something similar,
Right.
with no communication and everything. And that's just, I don't know. It's funny, like we talk about the bad experience we've had. It's like I had one bad experience in a dungeon after hundreds of dungeon runs, leveling every job to max level. Like
Yeah.
I ran dungeons all the freaking time and I had one bad experience. I log into WoW,
Yeah.
no joke. First one, bad
First one.
experience right away.
How bizarre.
Yeah.
It just blows my mind. Like,
Do you know they make you sign a social contract when you log
I
into WoW
heard.
now?
I saw that. I did. I can't believe this. Why? What? This isn't gonna change anything.
It's
Like,
like it's like, be a good person. World of Warcraft is a social game. We want to make sure that new players, like it like went through this whole thing about like you must be a good person, blah 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 blah. It has changed nothing, like
of
as far
course
as I can
not.
tell.
Just
And I
I
don't know.
can't
I'm
believe.
curious. I want to go into a mythic dungeon and just see like how,
Can
like,
you
or mythic
please?
plus, and just like be like this.
Yeah.
And I've already got like some footage. I need to
Mm.
go into WoW. I might make a new character. I'm not sure yet because I want it to appear as like a sprout. Um,
Yeah.
and I just want to go and be like, "Hey guys, I'm new," and just see what happens.
Oh, yeah, no, that's
So,
cool content. Like comparing being a sprout in Final Fantasy, comparing
mhm.
being a new player in World of Warcraft and the differences and how you get treated differently. Dude, love that.
So that's
Great
one of my
content.
new projects. That and
It
a
is.
really bad parody song of Toto's Africa called Eorzea, not surprisingly. So
Can't
that
wait
one's
to
been
hear
in
it.
the oven for for quite a while. So I need backup singers if anyone wants to sing on that one. Um,
Don't look at me.
don't look at you.
Nah. Trust.
So, um, so yeah, like there's just been so
Mm.
much like kind of new stuff, and I had a good breakaway. Like I was always playing 14. Like I did all my dungeons and stuff every day. And but I was very casual, right? Like I wasn't keeping up with everything. There's still some things that I haven't done. Um, but I guess one of the other things I wanted to talk about, so we talked about Criterion dungeons and like the variant dungeon and stuff. But one of the other things, I guess there was a bit of controversy around the relic weapons being locked behind the Manderville
Oh,
quests.
yeah.
You got
I
thoughts
love
on
doing
that?
Mandeville. I
I
loved
haven't completed it
Mandeville.
yet, and it's pushing me to do
I
it.
did
Like,
it recently. I literally only just completed all the Mandeville quest lines like 2 months ago, I think, and it was fun. It was just like humorous. Like I can understand why people are getting like a little bit annoyed about it, but it's something different. Do you know what I mean? Like it's always been quite serious. So like why not let's have something a little bit more fun and um a bit more lighthearted, you know?
mhm,
So I think it's good to have that little bit of a change.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I like epic stuff, so to me, it's a bit like
That's fair. Yeah, I
a
get that.
tiny bit disappointing that it's like like I
Yeah,
really like.
I get
I've
that.
done I've done I think through the Heaven's Word Manderville quests, and
Mm.
I've really enjoyed them so far. Like the reason I haven't done them is because I keep saving them to do on stream because I
Yeah,
want
they're
my
fun to do on
reactions
stream.
to
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
But it's I don't know. I'm just a tad disappointed, like that it's like not some like crazy, void world stuff or the 13th stuff or something like that.
Yeah, okay, it would've been cool for, like, in the 13th or something, but
Yeah, but I'm sure
yeah.
we probably will end up in the 13th, knowing the
Oh,
way the
yeah.
Manderville quests go. Um,
Oh, actually yeah, no, I think there was a, screenshot of his legs, like, but,
mm,
was it in the I need to find that screenshot. There was a screenshot that kinda leaked where we would be, but I can't remember what that was.
yeah, let's
I
see
need
here.
to find that.
Nate,
Mm.
or sorry, that's Dante. Absolutely don't understand it when you're not interested in it. Just skip cut scenes and you're done
Yeah,
in an hour. Yeah,
yeah,
definitely makes
that's
sense
so
if you're
true.
not interested.
I think someone actually timed it. I think it was like 3 hours to get through all of it with just skipping cutscenes. Like, that's not
Really?
that long, to be honest. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was like 3 hours, I think.
Nate says,
'cause
I have
people were
no
complaining.
problem with the relics being behind Hildy. I love that quest line. I'll take that 1,000 times over Eureka.
Yeah, no, me too, honestly. Me too.
I still have not done Eureka. I guess that's the perks of being a person
Yeah,
who's like really just started like fully playing in Shadowbringers, but then
yeah.
really made this as a main game in Endwalker, or right before Endwalker, I should say. So
Yep, no, it's fair. I mean, it's so time consuming.
yeah, yeah. So why don't we switch gears and talk lore and lore spoilers and whatnot. So if you haven't finished 6.2 just yet, like
Uh,
we're probably gonna like throw wide the gates and talk about a little bit of everything in terms of lore spoilers, because
gosh.
I got questions. I got lots of questions, and I want to
Mm.
know if Sarah Jane or any of you have answers. So all right, so spoiler warning for I need to make a graphic for that now that I can pull up graphics on the screen. But uh spoiler warning for 6.2 in the MSQ. What do you think Zero's background is? Like, who do you think
Uh,
Zero was before the Contra Memoria? It's a Contra Memoria, right?
yeah, I mean, it's like how I don't know, cause like she was the void scent of Xenos, right? It's
Yeah.
like, but like, so you mean like before that? It's
Yeah.
like
Like back, when they're
that's yeah, I don't
human.
know. It's hard to kind of like put your finger on. Like, do you reckon that they, because like the way that Zero is now, like she is very much like only cares about her ether. Like that's her mission. It's like I just
Mhm.
want ether. Like I don't even care about having a name. Like it's like, do you think that that personality was there before? But I don't think it was. I reckon she was like a completely different person. Like
Yeah.
compared to like what she portrays herself as now. So it is hard to try and figure out what her old, like, background was or what she used to be like, but, I think she was probably quite different to, like, how she portrays her personality now and, like, her mission and everything, like, but maybe that's what we will see. Like I can see like that character development of her kind of like finding her old self and not
Mhm.
being so focused on like her missions and like, just as much ether as she can get and all that kind of stuff. Like I reckon it's gonna be a really cool story of seeing like who she becomes, but it's actually going to probably be a reflection of like who she used to be. That makes sense.
Yeah. I'm so fascinated by her character because I think I agree with you. I think she was someone totally different, because I think
Yeah, I
she
think totally different.
she is a void scent. So she is embodying everything that there is to being a void scent in terms of obsession over ether, like doesn't care about
Yeah.
anything else, like it's about
Yeah.
power and all the other stuff.
Yeah.
Um and I don't know, like here, there's a couple people commenting in the chat about like Fort or Final
I
Fantasy
haven't played
4.
4, so I'm like, I feel like I'm missing out because I haven't played 4.
It's
Like,
four
I understand
four's
the cross references.
four's the one with Kane Highwind, right? Like that's the Kane Highwind one.
I don't know.
It's been
Chat will know.
I'm gonna show my age here. It's probably been like 20 something years since I played through 4. It's
Yeah.
probably been like 22 years since I played through 4. But yeah, I don't remember much about the story. So let's see here. Let's look at Nate's comment, because
Only
Nate
half of White
Nate
Scent.
said Final Fantasy IV was my first RPG. As a Final Fantasy IV player, when they called her Zero, the first thing I thought about was Zero must an important character in 4. So there might be something there. Looks like
Okay.
Zaire says, I think she is the child of the Warrior of Light of the 13th.
Makes sense.
What
Can see that.
what about the actual Warrior of Light of the 13th? Do you think that's a possibility, Sarah Jane?
Anything's possible.
True.
They can do whatever they like.
I guess here's another random question. Did 6.2 go the direction that you thought it was going to go? Because
Um,
for me, not really, but I'm curious what your thoughts are.
Honestly, I had no expectation. I had no idea because to me, it's like this is the build up to 7.0. Like, how are they going to like start anew essentially? Because they said they want us to feel like we are, just a new adventure again, like, not this warrior of light. So, like, how in the hell are we gonna feel like that new adventure again?
Mhm.
So, honestly, I had no idea what to expect. Um, like, we knew that we were going to, like, be trying to get into the 13th and, like, how are we gonna do this? And we had, like, the, alchemist, like, help us out with that, which was really cool. So, like, I had, like, those expectations that we were going to be visiting, but apart from that, I honestly had no predictions because I'm just like, I don't know what to expect. I don't know how they're gonna do it, but I think what they're doing now is something really exciting.
Yeah. I think 0 was and that's the reason I wrote that down as my first question for the lore section
Yeah.
was I think that was the biggest shocker to me was
Yeah.
where they went with because we all I think knew that Xenos' Void Scent was going to play a important role in the post
Yeah.
patches. And in my mind, I thought 0 or thought the Void Scent would, I keep asking myself the question like, why did Xenos pick her? Like, why
Oh.
her? Like, was it just random happenstance? But I feel like Xenos has more
Doesn't this touch into, like, the Reaper lore or something about, like, each Reaper's, like, void scent or something? I saw something
a,
about it.
a
It's
bit
like your own
because
reflection of some
well,
chat probably knows better than
the
me.
the Void Scent in the Reaper storyline, the Reaper class
Yeah.
or job class quest line was like the grandfather or of the I forget her name, the trainer for the Reapers, and like it was like I don't know if it was her grandfather or if the Void Scent like corrupted her grandfather and was using his form. Like it was something to do with that. Like so, there was some important
Mm.
familial connection there
Right,
for a
yeah.
reason, and I felt like Xenos would pick that Void Scent for a reason, and that's why
Yeah, okay, yeah.
it's my personal
Mm.
theory. Oh, Dante's correct. Dante said, um, "Isn't she only half Void Scent?" Technically, yes.
Yeah.
And so that would make sense as to why I forget who said that they thought it might be the like child of the Warrior of Light of the 13th. Um, so that kind of makes sense because I feel like Xenos picked that Void Scent because of us. Because I mean, what? Why else does Xenos do anything?
Yeah. Yeah. Just always about us.
Hmm.
So, no, it's exciting though. I when I first saw 0, I was like, "Whoa!" Like it was just so exciting, like with the crystal that Highland has given us, and it was just, I just didn't expect all this stuff to happen. Honestly, it was a huge shock, and it actually really excited me when they like we gave it the name 0 because I really like that name as well. It was one of my cat's names that my dad had,
Oh, really?
and like from like 0 from Nightmare Before Christmas, right? So I'm like, "Oh, this is so cool." Like, I just think it's a really cool name. And then when she was like, "Yes, 0 is like nothing or something, like starting from nothing." I was like, I don't know. It was a really cool and interesting name that they'd given her.
Yeah. Looks like was it Chile and Reaver Prime said the kid from the Warring Triad quest line, and Reaver Prime here says Unakalai of the Warring Triad was the 13th Warrior of Light. Is that true?
Really? I had no
Yeah.
idea.
I didn't think he was the Warrior Light. I thought he was just a survivor of that world that Elidibus took under his wing. Um,
Hmm.
I don't know. Interesting. Let's see here.
I don't know.
Zyrus
I
says,
need to, learn more. I honestly I need to learn more about the law.
yeah. Zaire says the void is about to invade all of the shards. Golbez is building up ether for war. Zaire, do you think he's gonna last and SJ, do you think he's gonna last through the end of the like 6 X patches? I don't think Golbez makes it
Nah,
out,
nah.
past like
He's dying.
6.4.
We're sending him to his grave.
I think so too. I think he dies in two
Yeah,
patches.
I can
Um
see that.
I would it depends on what they end up doing with it. I don't know if they're going to try to conclude the storyline from like 6 point or like how they do in like previous patches, they kind of conclude the main campaign at the 0.3 patch and then they kind of set up the next
Yeah.
expansion in the 0.4 0.5 patches. I think
Yeah.
Yoshi P said something like they're going to conclude this a little bit later than they normally would because it's kind of a separate thing from like the Endwalker stuff.
Oh, okay. Right. No, I didn't
So
actually know that. Okay.
my thought is that they're probably going to end this at like 6.4 and then just use 6.5 to springboard into the next one,
That
or they
makes
use it
sense.
for the whole thing and this all is a springboard to the next one, which
Well, that's
would
what
go.
I was hoping. That's what I was kind of hoping, to be honest. But
I kind of was
we'll
too.
see.
Like
Yeah.
that the next expansion would be all about the 13th.
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense. Like in a way, it makes sense.
Yeah. I would think so too. I would think that I'm a bit shocked. I'm glad that they're doing this now because I feel like if they had drug out the humble adventure thing for too many patches, it would get a bit stale.
I'm really excited to be like a humble adventurer
Are you?
again, though. Yeah, because I love like going back and like creating a new character and like pretending to be a sprout. So just take me back to that. Like
So
I don't know.
so I take it
It's
you really
cute.
loved the Rising event this year?
Yes. Oh my god. Yes. I cried. I cried.
I until people in my chat
Mm,
were like, "Mommy," in the talking about
of
like the
course.
row thing when all the like lowly adventurers show up with Yoshi P. Um
Oh,
I was getting a bit emotional because it was nice to see someone like or see that, you know, and I'd
yeah.
feel that way again in terms of like the first time you log in and kind of take you down that memory lane.
Yeah.
Just a really
It's always
nice.
the soundtrack for me, like the original, like Realm Reborn soundtrack. Like when that
Mhm.
started playing, and I'm just like,
Yeah. I kind of felt
just the
bad for
music.
so Ul'dah because I started off as a black mage. That was my first, or thaumaturge was my first job
I
class.
hate saying that word.
Thaumaturge.
Thaumaturge.
That was my first. So like I started in Ul'dah. So like being like walking up to Momodi and everything like that, that made,
Mm.
you know, that meant a lot to me because that was my exact experience.
Yeah.
Um, but I kind of felt bad because it's only in Ul'dah, right? Like, what about the people who like started in Gridania and those that
I was
started
in
in
Limsa. Yeah.
Limsa? You know, like
Yeah.
I feel like they should have let you pick like where you wanted to greet a
Yeah,
new
that would have
adventurer,
been a good idea, actually.
but
Yeah.
that would have been probably like too much in terms of
Yeah.
like
They're like, "Ah, this is enough. We're too busy working on all this other stuff that they're doing."
so I mean I'm a immortal flame and will never change. I don't care about that title, like of getting the thing, like all of them to max level. Like I'm an immortal flame. I'm not changing. The Sultana is my queen, and I don't want it. I don't want
Yeah.
the throne or anything. So like, you know, I'm happy that all this stuff happens in Ul'dah all the time, but I'm sure for people that like started in Gridania or Limsa, like it probably would mean more for it to be there for you.
Yeah. No, that's fair. I mean, I still like I've created like characters where I have started in Ul'dah before, so there's still
Mhm.
like a little bit of like nostalgia to it for sure.
Yeah. Let's see here. It says Reaver says he was referring to Anul High, I think is how you say it. But he failed, and that's why Elidibus brought him to the source. Gosh, it's been a while since I did that quest line, and,
Wow.
I forgot that that little kid
Yeah,
was technically our counterpart over there.
it's crazy.
So
I didn't know. You guys are teaching me something.
I know we're learning. So that's part of the joy of having this live. Is that, like people can be like, "You're wrong."
Yeah. No, I love
Here's
that.
how you're wrong, but like we're getting educated here
No,
too.
like I know like my lore isn't up to scratch compared to like so many people in this community. Like people live and breathe this Final Fantasy lore. Like and I do love it, but I need to, get back into it, to be honest.
Yeah, yeah. Let's see. Let's go to this comment here. Dante says, "I'll doubt Golbez will die in the 6.x. The other elements will be the new trial
Mm.
line."
Yeah.
I agree. There, some of my chat was talking about how like they thought the fire and the water trials would be like one fight.
Yeah, one fight. I heard
Because
that too.
because
Yeah.
because every trial series is 3, right? Because in the
Mm.
weapons trial series, it was
Ruby,
Ruby, Emerald,
Emerald,
Diamond.
Diamond.
and Sapphire was like a one-on-one like event type of
Yeah.
thing, right?
Yeah.
So it was just 3. So my thought, and we've already taken care of the Earth Elemental because that's the dungeon boss, and Scar. I can't say the whole name, but
Scarmillion.
Scarmilione.
Scarmaloni. Baloney.
I should be able to say this because I lived in
I
Italy for
cannot.
2
I do
years.
not. If anyone that's in
Or
my
not for 2
stream,
years,
they
for
know
a
I
couple
cannot
months.
pronounce anything, and we just have a good laugh about it. So
Yeah, but Barbaricia, so that's 2 down, right? So we only have 2 left, and my thought was it would
mm,
be Barbaricia, the fire and water elementals together, because that would be a cool fight, right? Like you could do some really cool like
yeah,
play on like fire and water, and it's almost like
it
they're
makes sense.
fighting and you're having to use them against each other. I feel like that could make a really interesting fight.
Yeah, it's like I mean they've done that a lot in like past fights where like you can only attack one. It's like the twins, like you can only attack one of them, like the other one becomes invulnerable, or like you'll have the ice debuff, so you can only attack the fire one. So like I can see something like that returning.
Mhm. And Reaver Prime says says Scar Millie Yone. Okay.
Scarmillione, thank you.
Scar Millione.
I
Okay.
think I ended up calling him Spaghetti during my MSQ. It was
Uh,
quite funny.
but so I think Golbez is the last of those trials is my feeling. I could be wrong
Yeah.
because they usually try to do the trial
Mm.
series separate, but this time it seems very much like the trial series and the MSQ are together, like they are
Yeah.
a unified storyline.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Yeah, remember Garuda and Ifrit were the first tag team in Eden. Yeah, that fight, the Eden fights. I've only done most of them once, but that stuff was
Yeah, same.
absolutely unreal. I guess we're talking about spoilers, but like, let's backtrack a little bit since we're talking about boss fights and mechanics and everything. Um, the new normal raid Abyssos fights. What have been
Fun.
your thoughts on them so far? Do you think they're better than
Yeah.
the Asphodelos, or do you think Abyssos fights are better?
Yeah, so I was actually, like, comparing them the other day, actually. I don't know why, but I find the Abyssos ones actually a little bit, like, easier to understand, like, mechanics-wise. Where, like, I felt like when I was doing Asphodella stuff, like, for the first time, I was a little bit more like, um, what's going on? Like, what's this mechanic? Where, like, it was a lot more clearer to understand what to expect in the new Abyssos fights. So that's my take on it. But like amazing fights. Like I found P5S like quite easy to understand and like got first clear and stuff. So I feel like when I first did Asphodelos, like the first fight, pretty sure I wiped. Do you know what I
Really?
mean?
I felt like the first fight was, I guess, yeah, if you're not, it's not super visual because you have to pay attention to where his like flail is
Yeah.
spinning and stuff.
Or like even with the crystal, I don't know. I just feel like there was more to like understand where I feel like with Abyssos, the first fight, that was much, like, clearer. It's like, "Okay, the
Yeah.
AoE is in this compartment. I'm gonna stand over there. Oh, there's a
Yeah.
puddle over there. I'm just gonna run over there." Do you know what I mean? Like, it was a lot more basic in that sense to me.
Yeah, I feel like is it has Hesperos the first one? The first fight
Yeah.
in Asphodelos is, I love that fight. It's relatively simple once you understand it, but like I
Yeah, like
really
yeah,
love
it
that
is.
fight.
Yeah.
The hippocampus fight, the like water dog Cerberus thing. That one is, I like it, but it's frustrating, especially because like you're in such a condensed space with other people with those
Mm.
overlapping circles, and it can be really frustrating if
Yeah. I
people
feel like
aren't
you gotta have good
communicating.
synergy with your
Yeah,
party.
yeah. And then the third fight is, what is the third fight of Asphodelos? Oh, the fire Phoenix, the Firebird.
How could you
Um,
forget?
yeah.
The
How?
trauma.
Yeah.
Dude,
Uh,
I still see orange, like, it's like
that's the
just
only thing that makes
tinted.
that fight difficult is the fact that everything is orange.
That's why I have to wear glasses now.
But like that's the honestly, like I like the fight, but like that's the only thing that makes that fight difficult is the fact that everything is orange and
Yeah,
it's
it's
really
hard to
hard to see
see.
everything.
Yeah. Yeah, that
And
was
then
fun.
the last fight, basically the Castlevania vampire boss. I love that fight. That fight's
Yeah,
great.
I love it. Yeah, it's so
Um,
good.
so the new fights are Proto
Carbby.
Carbuncle, like beefy Carbuncle.
Yeah.
That's a great fight, and some great cinematic moments in it too, right? Like
Oh,
when
yeah,
like
dude.
the
It's so
the WWE like style, like
on the
bouncing off
cage, yeah.
yeah, bouncing off the ropes and like jumping
Yeah,
off the
so
top of a
good.
turnbuckle just feels like kind of metal and awesome.
Yeah.
The track, like music tracks on all those
Scream?
fights, just
Dude.
oh
I'm really sad because literally when I first heard it, I literally said, "Chat, I know this song. This is totally a song that I know." And I was like, "Evanescence," and everyone's like, "Yes, yes." And then literally like the next like day or so on YouTube, someone had created like a mashup of "Bring Me to Life" and that
uh-huh.
song, and it just works so well together. And I was like, "No freaking way!" Like I called this out. I called this. It's so good though. You should hear
Yeah,
it.
Evanescence is exactly what I thought
I love
of.
Amy Lee. Yeah,
Um,
so good.
what's that one song that she did with I think her then husband? It's like, "And I'm broken."
Oh, yeah, but is it Seether? Was
Yeah,
it
I think that's either
yeah.
lead singer.
Yeah, yeah, and it was broken. Oh, that was
Yeah.
so good. Yeah, I love that
Oh,
song
I
too.
wanna go back to the early 2000s so bad sometimes.
I'm still living there. It's okay. Come join
Um,
me, it's fine.
so, yeah, like, the music in these fights are great. The second fight, I like the concept behind the fight, I think is really cool. Like, I think the design
Mm,
of the boss is really cool, but I will say that's
yeah.
probably been the most underwhelming boss fight since
Mm.
I wanna
It was like
say
with the switching and everything.
mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I just it mechanically and I did all this blind, like, mechanically, it just
Yeah.
didn't raise to the level of, like, being as interesting as it could have been mechanically.
Yeah.
I think thematically it's cool, but mechanically,
Yeah.
um, and then the 3rd fight, the
Tree boss.
giant tree boss, my FC mate, Bear, he said, "Wait till you get to the 3rd one."
Yeah.
And boy, oh boy, was he right, because we wiped, I think we
Yeah,
wiped
I think we actually maybe we didn't wipe, but I did die. I remember dying, but it was so stupid. I literally just like went to because you know how it's like when the map kind of like collapses, I think. And there's like the circles and then there's like the bridges that goes to each circle. So like I
mhm.
was running to a circle, but then I wasn't supposed to be there. So then I was running to go back onto the bridge. But there's like obviously like this little gap between the circle and the bridge. And I just
Tiny
like
little
ran
gap.
straight into that. I just went woo, like it was straight down. So that was just a Sarah moment for sure.
This is gonna sound really funny, because like, I mean, I think we wiped 5 times to that boss, because like, the first group fell apart, and I was kinda like, "Why? Like, we're almost there."
Yeah,
Um, and I really, really enjoyed it despite the fact that we wiped, like, 5 times the
yeah.
first time I did it, because
Good prog.
yeah, like, it was a good, visual learning experience
Yeah,
where it was, okay, like, first couple rounds, it was, alright, the big dogs, I was calling them, like, get out of the circle around them, the birds, like,
yeah,
look at which direction they're facing.
yeah,
Um, I was, like, visually comprehending everything that was going on and kinda
yeah.
mapping out in my head,
Yeah, you're
like,
learning it,
I'm,
yeah.
like, going Professor X
Try and remember.
and trying to remember, like, where the little gaps are and
Yeah,
visualize the whole thing in front of me, and it was just so satisfying, like, once you finally got it down. I'm sure, like,
yeah.
after the 30th time doing it and people are, like, wiping the stuff, I probably won't feel that way anymore, but, like,
I haven't gone back and done it in a while, actually.
it's probably my favorite fight mechanically of the new fights, actually, like,
Mm,
now that I think about it. And
yeah.
I totally face pulled the first time too. Like, I was tank, and I didn't intend lucky I was tank, but I didn't intend to pull, and I just kinda stood there and right clicked
Yeah.
on it and was just like, "Whap." I probably made some
Look, it
people
has to
mad.
happen at least once, okay?
I didn't expect the hitbox to be like 90% of the room.
Mm. Yeah, no, it's crazy.
Let's see here. Calvin says, our friend, War Chief Peeps is also a metalhead like you guys. She was rocking out to
Yeah.
Scream as well.
Yeah, it's so good.
Not
No, I get so
surprising.
distracted by the music. I'm literally just, like, jamming, like, the whole time I'm playing.
Yeah. And then the
So
last
good.
fight, Hephaestus, Hephaestus, right? Basically, I just call him William Birkin because that's basically what he is from Resident Evil
Yeah.
2. He's got the G virus.
Yeah.
Uh, I don't know. What'd you think of that fight? Like, epic
Dude,
final
I'm trying to
fight,
think.
better than the
I've
vampire
just
fight?
I've just I've just blanked out completely. of my experience. Um,
He's got like the red like G virus arm with the dragon and
yeah,
like the
no, you're
phoenix and
right.
stuff. Like,
Yeah. Um, which do I prefer though? That's a good question. I see. I really enjoyed Las Fidelis, like the fourth fight
mhm.
and like Pinax memes.
Yeah, yeah. Like I don't know. I vampire dude. I loved it because I like vampires
Vampire
and stuff.
Daddy, yeah.
I
You
went through. I
know.
went through. I think you probably went through a phase too, where it was like I want to be a vampire. Like I don't care. Like go out in the middle of the night
Yeah.
and just be like, take me. Like I'm ready to ascend to be a
Yeah.
vampire. But it's yeah. Like I like that fight so much that I felt like thematically it didn't have as much weight in terms of the lore and everything with La
Mm.
Brea and everything. Um, I think
Yeah, that
mechanically
was sick.
I think
I like the
mechanically it's a
story.
good fight, but yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, so you like the story of Abyssos and La Brea
Yeah.
and all that?
Yeah. I thought that was really cool. Yeah.
Where do you
It
think
was
we're
good.
going
The mommy and
next?
daddy issues.
Yeah. Nothing beats a good,
Yeah.
"Daddy doesn't love me" story.
Yeah.
With a satisfying payoff, like, they know how to give me like, I just watched all of Cobra Kai season 5 last night, like, it came out yesterday, and I watched the whole thing.
Oh, wow. Nice.
And it's like, yeah, get me all the time with, like, the dad the dad, like, emotional moments and everything.
Yeah.
Um,
Boys.
but, like, where do you think we're going now after that? So, obviously, we've gotten to the point where turns out La Habrea has separated his consciousness into two, and he's kind of all whole again.
Mm.
So he's not a distant father figure. I guess he kind of still is, but he at least has admitted to his son how he feels and
Yeah.
everything. Like, who do you think the last boss of Pandemonium is going to be, and like, where do you think we're going with that?
No idea. What's your take? I literally I can't even I don't know what to expect. I feel like if I even attempt to think of something, it's just wrong. I don't know. I really don't.
I think I'm on team Reaver here. Reaver says Athena is definitely the final boss. Um,
Right.
I wonder if it's Athena by herself or if
Mummy boss then.
I have a feeling like it's a mommy and a daddy boss type of
Mummy
thing.
and daddy boss, okay.
Yeah, where because remember, like
Uh,
La Habrea has like the memories, and Athena shared the memories with La Habrea, and so like
mm,
they like merged for a bit of time before he pulled apart. So knowing Final Fantasy and knowing how much they like to play with like psychology and philosophy and all this different stuff, like
yeah,
it seems very fitting to me that there was some part of Athena's like subconscious that is embedded within La Habrea. And so I think
right.
she's gone, but I think she lives on in him. And I think that
Yeah,
the last boss will be like her overtaking him or her mission
right.
overtaking him. And that's what makes him, into this kind of it's kind of a retcon, right? Because we're in the past, but like this
Mm,
kind of I think will also explain why of the three unsundered Asians, he was the one that was like the biggest a-hole. Because I
right.
think it's gonna be not just him, it's gonna be like him and her's consciousness combined, and we have to defeat them.
Yeah,
But
it's a really good take. Yeah, I
but
can see that.
that's my thought. I do think I'm kind of surprised, honestly, that we did not fight his son Eric Thonios yet, and that's who's the first boss of
Yeah.
Asmodeus. But uh, I'm surprised we didn't like he hasn't been corrupted and we haven't fought him yet. So that's my second option is if it's not La Habrea and Athena combined, then it's going to be Eric Thonios and Athena combined in some way, or they're
Okay.
going to be two
Yeah.
separate fights in that last section. So
Cool. I'm excited though.
Fox
I'm
says a
very
test of
excited.
your reflexes. So let's see here.
Definitely.
The good old a test of your reflexes. Let's see. And Reaver says, I think that scientist that disappeared before Pandemonium appeared in the present is a shard of Eric and was called to Azus Law by La Habrea's essence and King Thornton's sword. That's a really
Wow.
good take. I
Yeah.
like that one. Because yeah, something's clearly going on with that sign. I mean, they have red eyes. Like there's something clearly going on there.
Yeah.
Oh, and yeah, I completely forgot that Pandemonium just appeared in our
Yeah,
reality, right?
no. Yeah, I totally forgot about that.
It's kind of like the big cliffhanger, and I completely forgot about it because I was
Yeah.
more concerned with like the dad and son stuff.
Daddy
uh,
issues.
said like a true former, still trying to be an emo kid, I guess. So, um, so yeah, like there's so many exciting different like paths that we can go down with all of this stuff. It's kind of mind
Mhm.
blowing. I don't know. I still feel like going back to Zero and the 13th. I still feel like Zero is
Different.
somehow connected to us, right? They are a
Yeah.
version or a counterpart to us because even
Right.
though Unakalai was their realm's warrior of light, that doesn't necessarily mean that they're our reflection on that shard, right?
Right.
I
Yeah.
mean, even though Ardbert was their warrior of light and they were our reflection, it doesn't necessarily mean I think that Unakalai is
Not
um
necessarily.
our shard, unless they've said that. Please correct me if I'm wrong. So I just have this feeling like Zero is the new Ardbert. And
Mm.
if I was a betting man, which I'm not, but if I was a betting man,
You'd bet on it.
I would bet. Although I shouldn't do this because Yoshi P and Ishikawa and people are much better writers than me. So I just have this feeling like that, like the end of like the 6 X patch like series, this whole 13 thing is basically going to be like Shadowbringers 2.0. Like basically like
Right.
a little
Yeah.
bit like Shadow or not a little bit or 6.0, like the Emmett Selk. Um, like Zero's going to have to merge with us and just like Ardbert did. And so Zero is going to become a part of us because they're our reflection and
Yeah.
that's going to help us take down Golbez.
Right.
But I feel like that's probably too easy, right? Like
Yeah.
for Ishikawa and Yoshi P, like that's I don't know. I think I just
Mm.
want to experience Shadowbringers again, honestly.
Just take me back. Take me back.
Was that you or someone else that I was talking with who said like I wish I could mind wipe myself and just experience Shadowbringers and
I've
Endwalker?
definitely said that. I've definitely said that. Yeah. I
It's
I
like
truly do because like the first experience of just like stepping in and dude, just take me back.
yeah. I, and it's weird too because it's like it's like saying I want to cry and feel like incredibly intense emotions again.
I want to feel something. Okay, this is the only way I can feel something again.
Yeah, yeah.
Just take me back. So
Pandemonium is now yeah, that's
good.
a good take, Calvin. Pandemonium is now the TARDIS for all the Doctor Who fans out there. And
Oh, I get so many Doctor Who fans in my chat.
do you really?
Is your name from Doctor Who? Like, no,
Oh
it's
God,
literally my
yeah.
name.
You're
Yeah.
right. You're right. Because every time
Yeah.
I go to make a thumbnail with you in it, I Google Sarah Jane and I try to find like a more recent picture of you. And inevitably, like I always have to like modify it because Sarah
You
Jane
probably have
from
to
Doctor Who
enter
shows up.
FFXIV. Yeah.
Yeah. And I
Doctor
should know
Who.
that because I was in a big like Doctor Who kick from like 2000 and say 2010 to probably like
I watched like the
2005.
David Tennant series and that was it. But it was
Yeah,
good. I enjoyed it.
I haven't watched any of the new Doctor stuff, which is
Yeah.
weird. And it's not because like people are like, oh, it's because you're boycotting like the new female. No, I don't care. I think because I was just so emotionally attached to the 12th Doctor.
Mm, yeah,
Which
you
is
do
not
get attached
everybody's
to him.
favorite. Like, but like when they switched off the 12th Doctor, I was like, I love him so much as this grumpy old man. Like, I can't see
Yeah,
someone else in the role. And I know everyone has like their doctor, like Matt Smith or David
David
Tennant.
Tennant. Yeah.
Um, but yeah, like I don't know. Why are we talking about Doctor Who now?
You just get attached, you know?
Yeah, yeah, definitely,
That
definitely.
reminds me of something else. I can't even think of it now.
Do you think we're speaking of Doctor Who, do you think we're gonna do any like more time traveling after all this is done?
Probably.
I kinda hope not. Like I
It makes it very confusing for my small brain.
I and this is the reason, and it's kind of like the Rick and Morty rationale, like of why I think time travel can be kind of dumb and risky to play around with.
Mm,
Is that like then you're inevitably, no matter how skilled of a writer you are, you're inevitably going to run into contradictions with like changing timelines and stuff like that.
yeah.
And I feel like
Yeah.
it might also cheapen the
The
sacrifice that
depth of it.
Elidibus gave, because basically the only reason that we're able to travel back in time is because Elidibus sacrificed the last of his ether to allow us to do that. Like that
Right.
was his final true death. And I feel like if we're just all of a sudden, it's kind of like sorry to bring up WoW, take a drink. It's kind of like Shadowlands, where it was like, all right, now you can go to the death realm. So anybody that dies is just like, there's a portal in Stormwind or Orgrimmar, and you just go to the death realm and you can visit them whenever you want. They might be blue now, they might be, a scary like undead creature or a vampire, but like, just whoever you want to visit anyway, just go through that portal in Stormwind, just like all the other portals, and
So many portals.
it broke death, like it broke the
Yeah.
concept of death in that world, and it
Right.
sucks.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah. I
feel
don't
like
like that.
and I feel like
Mm.
if we go back in time too many times, like we're gonna break like time in
Yeah.
14. And I don't think
No,
that would.
yeah, I can understand that. Yeah. It takes away like that value of going back and how important it was to if it's like, oh, it's so easy to just go back again, then it just takes away that impact.
Yeah, yeah. Let's see here.
Mm.
Nate says something about I saw Naldthal's theme and I instantly started to read the comment because I love that song.
Yeah.
Naldthal's theme was a variation of Old Oz music. I want to see if Halone's theme calls back to Ishgard. Probably will,
Oh,
knowing Soken, that mad lad, because
amazing, yeah.
he he is a musical genius. Honestly, like 14's lucky to have him because he could be working on anything. And I don't know if he does other side projects and stuff like that, but like,
Yeah, I don't know.
I put Soken in that same category as like TV music people, or, screen music people, like your Bear McCreary's and your Ramin Djawadi's from Game of Thrones and other people like that are just so unbelievably talented with scoring stuff and creating music.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so
Next level.
So it's kind of like, I want Soken to have all the success in the world, but like, let's keep him our little secret,
Yeah.
please. So we don't end up having another music producer on 14. Let's see here. Dante says, really curious on the Relic quest line and how it will be built. I hated Basha and Eureka, but please not an ARR Relic quest line. I kind of started the Bosja one. I didn't get that far. I mean, I got the kind of where it gets kind of shiny on the Gunbreaker. But have you done any of the other Relic quest lines? Are there any
I
things you would
did
like to see or
I did
not see in there?
Bozja, and like I got my machinist weapon back when I used to play machinist. But like apart from that, no. Like it's so time consuming. I like that's the thing. I don't want the next relic thing to be such a hard grind. Like it's so time consuming.
Mm-hmm. And I think personally, rightfully so, because
Mm, I get
having
that.
something that like when you see
Valuable.
someone with a relic, like you kind of like, oh, like there's a relic weapon,
Respect.
you
Yeah.
know? And I think that
Yeah.
that's important, right? Like I think that
Yeah, that's
that
true.
level
Mm.
of achievement is important in the game, because like Asmund
Yeah.
talks about all this all the time on his stream and stuff, like how like in WoW, the more mounts they sell, the more cool looking mounts they sell in the store, it like degrades the importance of every other mount and every other like thing, right? So if you end up selling like cosmetics that look better than like the really really super fancy achievement stuff that stands out like a relic weapon, like you degrade the importance of like the respect that it brings to that game.
Yeah.
And I think that, while yes,
I
do
get
I
that.
want every single relic weapon? You betcha. Am I ever going to get them?
Yeah.
Probably not.
No.
But I'm okay
Yeah.
with that.
Yeah. No, for sure, for sure. I just feel like some of the like things that you had to do was just like it's just tedious, like really tedious and kind of boring.
Mhm.
Like especially like getting, I think it's the clusters for Bozja. Like that just it was just eh. Like
Yeah.
make it a little bit more interesting sort of thing. I don't know.
I mean, people were saying like, "Oh, Bosch is the best way to level all your alt jobs," and like just
Yeah, I'm
go
like,
through.
I'm not doing that.
I
I
tried
don't
it and I went right back to dungeon spamming because
Yeah, I prefer dungeon spamming too.
nothing
Yeah.
drove me crazier in Bastia than like having to go from like fate, or I forget what they called it. They're called in Bastia, but like fate to fate basically in
Yeah,
Bastia,
they're like fates, yeah.
and not making it in time for the fate to be over. And
Yeah.
it's like,
Yeah,
like
it's just
at least
yeah.
if it's slower in dungeons, at least I know I'm getting the experience constantly. I didn't just spend like 3 minutes riding across the map to like not get anything.
Yeah,
um
exactly. Yeah.
like super
And you only have
frustrating.
like a few little teleport points and stuff, yeah.
Yeah. So we've got people shipping in our chat here. Calvin says Ishtola needs to retire in the first with Runar and make a lot of kittens. I don't think Ishtola is ever retiring. Do you think the Scion, like,
No.
do you think, I mean, obviously Ishtola is still riding with us and going places with us, and uh Istinian was as well this time around, and then Urianger did for the last bit. Like, do you think like once 7.0 rolls around, like we're gonna get the whole band back together, or do you think that like we're gonna meet new people and like these people are kind of gonna be semi-retired?
I have a feeling it's gonna be new people. I
I do
think,
too.
yeah. I think it's gonna be a new people helping us out this time around, which will feel really different, but it'll be an experience.
Yeah,
Makes me really sad to be
it does me
honest.
too. Because like I want
'Cause,
Alfie and
yeah.
Allie with me. Damn it! Like I want.
Maybe no, but maybe like a theory, like Alfie and Alize, they are grown up with us and they're the ones because they were with us like from a very, very beginning, right?
Mhm.
Maybe they will like continue over to like 7.0 with us, but as like adults sort of thing. So I don't know. Wouldn't that
Yeah,
be kind of cool?
it would be. I, but like
Some
Urianger
people
and all the
hate
rest
the feeling of them like being adults,
growing
so
up.
people like yeah, people
Yeah,
hate that.
I think I'm one of them because I got all kind of weirded out when um what's why am I blanking on the dragon's name? The dragon in Radzat Han. Oh goodness gracious me! Someone help me out here. But anyway, like their human like form like went from a kid to got to glow up.
Whether he had his adult form. Yeah, no, dude, I'm blanking out too.
I got
Um,
weirded out by that because I was like, oh, like
really,
okay, he's
I
an
thought it
adult
was
now.
cool. Yeah, Vitra.
Vritra,
Yeah,
yeah,
Vitra. Yeah,
and
I thought that was cool. See, I like that. I think it's like kind of character development in some way, shape, or form. And then when
yeah.
he was like a kid again, like it's just like his vessel sort of thing.
Can you just imagine like Alfie looking like Fortuno and Allie looking like
Yeah,
Ameliance though? Like
I think that'd be
you,
cool.
I don't,
No, I reckon they'll look like the mom and dad.
right? Like I mean, it just seems, I don't know. It would make a lot of logical sense, but I like, to me, like them being like teenagers basically, and yet like still learning and growing is so important to their character that if you
Mm,
make them adults, it almost
yeah,
feels like they don't have more growth to go through. And that's such a like
yeah.
fallacy in my brain that I can't, think, cuz like obviously Fortuno went through growth and everything. Um but I don't know. I think I like them as they are, I guess.
Yeah,
Which is strange,
I get
but
that.
let's see here. Calvin says we might actually get Kryl in a new job for 7.0 following us around for please God, yes. Kryl is my in-game love interest, so like I need Kryl to be with us all the time.
I love
but,
Carl.
but yeah, let's see here. Zaire says I would hope that they show up as like the old Avengers, show them whippersnappers the ropes. Yeah. I think that
Aw.
would be cool. Like,
Yeah, I can see them making an appearance, but I don't see them being like as involved, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that would be great, honestly. And that's actually one of my other questions I have here. Like, because I talked about this with Elio from the Eorzean Archives, and I talked about it with Stout Helm and other people, but I never got to talk to you about it.
Yeah.
What do you think the next jobs are? Because we get to like
Ooh.
clockwork every new expansion.
Yep.
And Elio is
Mm.
100% on the Geomancer bandwagon, and
Yeah, I think
he's
a lot
convinced
of people are
me.
predicting. Yeah, I think a lot of people are predicting this Geomancer, which will be interesting to see. I made a video about this like a while ago, and I'm just trying to think who did I even suggest now because I had like a few ideas like written down. Um, I think there was like a time mage or something. I
Hmm.
don't really know how the heck that would work though.
Chronomancer or something like that.
Yeah. What else did I have? Wait, can I just quickly check? Because
Yeah,
I
yeah, go
did
for it.
some research. Like I
I'll
was,
read some comments while you check.
yeah,
So
it'll be
let's see
two
here.
secs.
Reaver says Yoshi P did confirm to Famitsu that Cryle would have a bigger role in 7.0. Awesome.
Ooh.
Yoshi P loves the Lalas, and we need a Lala in the trust because there isn't one right now, and it super bums me out. And I think that um I am blank. I'm having a bad day with names for some reason, but uh the general of the Immortal Flames, goodness gracious, his son needs to be a trust member too. Pippin needs to be a trust member.
Oh yeah, that'd
Nate,
be so cute.
see here, Nate says Beastmaster and Geomancer would be sick. I agree. Like,
Oh, I think that was one of mine was the beast.
I think Beastmaster would be cool. I guess the question about Beastmaster would be like, would it be more like a would Beastmaster be more like a hunter in WoW, where it's like a ranged character that uses animals to attack? Or would it be more
Mm.
like a druid where you're a person that transforms into animals?
Well,
Like,
I feel like the summoner kind of takes over the beast mastery sort of role. Do you think?
yeah, like as far as like WoW mechanics go, but I mean, it is a
Mm.
caster, right? Like it's not a,
Yeah, that's true.
you're not
Uh,
summoning animals. So I think visually you could do a lot of different things with a like beast mastery hunter type of beast master.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
But I feel like, because the jobs are singular in 14, I feel like
Mm.
they're, it's going to be one spec basically. I feel like you could do some really cool things with a like yourself transforming beast like a druid like
Yeah,
thing.
I
Because
think
whereas
that'd be cool.
in WoW, it's like, all right, you pick, are you a bear tank or are you a moonkin or are you a
Yeah,
cat? Um, or you are you a tree if you're a healer, in the old school. But
yeah.
I feel like, being able to combine like all these different forms as the different buttons and stuff like that would make a mechanically really cool class, right? Like where you could,
Mm.
I guess it's kind of similar to Summoner in a way, like where you would like cycle in and out of different forms, but I
Right.
feel like that would be potentially really cool.
Yeah.
Um, let's see here. Josh says, bring back Puppet Master. uh, am I blank? Was that a Final Fantasy thing? Puppet Master? Or are we referencing that like crazy 80s, 90s horror movie series, Puppet Master? Because I used to love that show.
Oh my
Those movies,
god.
as dumb as they were. Let's see here. Fox Davian says,
Oh, and 11?
with that said, there's something going on between Pippin and Tataru. Oh, interesting. I don't think I've gotten that far yet, and I haven't done the Tataru's Grand Adventure. Is that out yet?
Yeah, no, I just finished the Grand Endeavor. It's pretty fun
Okay,
with the pirates again.
gotcha. Let's see here. Reaver Prime says Puppet Master and FF. Oh, so it's an 11 thing. So I never played 11.
I kind of want to play
That's
11 just
terrible.
so I can compare the two.
Gotcha.
Kind of like, you know how you're playing WoW again? I kind
Yeah.
of just want to like play 11 just so I can be like, oh, so this is what this is like, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Do you know
I
what I
mean,
mean?
I guess there's still like new events and stuff going on in 11, even though like they haven't, really made
Crazy.
new expansions. It's encouraging to see them continue to support the game, like in a
Oh,
way.
yeah.
Because I can tell you nothing broke my heart more than watching people when they announced, when Blizzard announced that Heroes of the Storm was like basically going into maintenance mode, and they're like, we're
Mm,
not supporting it anymore, and we're not going to make any new
yeah.
heroes and stuff. And I was like, that was my favorite game for like 2 to 3 years.
Aw, really?
It's
Back in,
still
like, 2015? I feel
like
I had friends
I
playing it
played in
around
beta. Like I played all through
okay, so
beta and like through the
earlier.
main launch. Like I want to say I probably played hardcore heroes from like 2013 or
Yeah,
whenever
okay.
beta came out
Yeah,
to like 2016, 2017. Like
yeah,
I
'cause I had friends playing in, like, 2014, 15,
yeah.
and they were, like, in
It's
teams and everything.
I mean, judge me if you want. It's still my favorite MOBA. Like I like it better than LoL, and I like it better than Dota
Fair
2,
enough.
um
Yeah.
and it's just sad that like they're like, oh, it's not making enough money because we threw all this money at it and marketing and everything, so we're just going to cut support for it. And I'm like, oh. That's what
Yeah.
scares me about games as a service is just this kind of like, okay, well, when's the game going to be over?
Mm,
And they take that
yeah,
away from people. So
yeah.
let's see here. Got a lot of chats, a lot of takes here on different jobs and different things. Fox Davian says Rune Knight. I'm curious as
Very
to what
nice.
a Rune Knight how that would work.
Yeah.
If you've
Hmm.
got a quick description of Rune Knights, would like to hear it. Let's see here. Reaver Prime also said, also remember the Hero's Gauntlet and Shadowbringers had that Berserker as a boss.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so
Berserker mode.
Berserker's
That was sick.
definitely a cool one. I don't know how you make Berserker super different from a warrior. That's my only fear. Now, I
Yeah.
think weapon, like, because obviously all the jobs are tied to weapons. Um, you give him a mace, right? Like you give a berserker a mace
Yeah.
or 2 single-handed axes, something like that.
I like
I think,
mace.
yeah, I think Geomancer might have a mace or a one-handed mace or something like that. Let's see here. Rune Knight was a DPS in Final Fantasy. Let's see here. Reaver says Rune Knight was a DPS in Final Fantasy V. Rune Fencer was a tank in 11.
Wow.
Interesting. So I'm learning all kinds of new things here.
Yeah, same.
Let's see here. Here's Fox Davian's description. Rune Knights are elite knights who wear armor inscribed with magic runes of ancient and mysterious power. They have access to 4 level 3 magic spells and also 9 swordplay. This sounds like a D&D thing. So let's see here. Dante says, wasn't there also this dungeon which was completely Geomancer themed in Shadowbringers with the Goku ape? Yeah, I think so. Yeah, definitely. I've always wanted this
Rings a bell.
I've always wanted this as a spec. And I know that like Final Fantasy 14 monks are kind of like already this.
Mm,
But I've been begging like in WoW for an additional spec for monks that is basically like a ranged like Kamehameha spec, right? It's all just like key blasts and like Kamehameha beams and stuff. Like it doesn't get up, in your face. It's like a purely, it might be a slight melee hybrid, but like it's a mostly a pure ranged like key based attack spec. I would kill for that. And I know that like monks right now have the stuff that does a lot of that thing just up close, but
uh, great. Just
it's
without
like
positionals or anything? Just
yeah, no positionals.
yeah, no
It's a range
positionals.
spec. You're just
Yeah,
Hadoukening things from distance all the time. Um,
great.
let's see here. Oh, I was gonna say people don't like Josh's take, but apparently Josh doesn't like Josh's take. Puppet Master was terrible. They already brought Dancer, though I wish it felt more like 11. I do think Beastmaster would be fun. Tame creatures to use. Yeah, I
Yeah,
do think.
I wanna do that. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I do think
Because
that.
I played Beastmaster in WoW, and I really enjoyed, like, trying to get the animals that I wanted and, like, the
Mhm.
respawns and stuff, I would love to bring that into Final Fantasy.
Yeah, I think that's such low hanging fruit, for something that would add, it kind of fits in with the philosophy of the game. Like
Mm,
you know, that doing that extra stuff just for fun, just like so much of
yeah.
14's, side content, that would just
Yeah.
be such a fun
Could be,
thing to
like,
do.
achievements around it as well and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's see here. Uh, let's see. Calvin says we could also get a new unique 14 job that deals with dots instead. I agree.
I don't
But
mind dots. I actually miss my summoner dots.
I'm
bring them back.
assuming he says dot. He's meaning like damage over time dots.
Oh, I was
Um,
like, I was just like thinking about my summoner dots. Bring them back.
I do too. I like the spinning plates
Yeah.
thing from time to time. So yeah, and I feel like mechanically that's something missing, because I know you've
Yeah.
got Bard, right? Bard's got its dots that you can like 2 dots you can refresh.
Yeah.
Um, but I'm trying to think, is there anything else that really has? I mean,
Not
Paladin has
really.
like a bleed that you can put on
People just
things.
have like it's just like 1 or 2 or like yeah, it's just like
Yeah,
really just nothing.
yeah. I feel like that's a. I understand why I really love the new changes to Summoner. Like I love new
Yeah, me too.
Summoners
I
so
do.
so much
I
more.
wish I had 1 dot though. I wish
Yeah,
I had something.
yeah. I mean, I would like them to design a spec like intentionally built around dots, and I think
Yeah.
that could be something. And
I think that'd be cool.
maybe that's Geomancer. I don't know.
Yeah.
Could be because basically, duh, every healer has dots. Like they're like the only
Yeah.
class that like has dots, and it makes sense because you're healing and you're still dealing damage just to make sure you're maintenance
Yeah.
that dot.
Yeah.
Um, Dante says every job has at least 1 dot. Is that true?
No, Summoner doesn't have any now. We've got like our like Adder that reduces like magic damage, but there's nothing that deals damage over time.
Yeah, Reaper doesn't have a dot. It has a debuff that it has to manage, but it does not have a
Yeah.
dot.
There's nothing that deals damage over time. Not that I'm aware of. I mean, you have your slipstream that's not a dot.
Yeah. So let's see here. Guess this ghosting was a big problem. Same goes for scholar fairies. What's wrong with I'm a scholar healer main, like forever. It's my favorite healer.
Scholar. I never
Yeah.
got into Scholar.
I don't know. I just like the one the job quest line for scholar is awesome. Like I love the Tonberry stuff and everything that
Okay.
came out of that. And then so
Yeah.
that's what made me fall in love with it first. But like to me, scholar is like the old school WoW discipline priest where it was just bubbles for days. And
Right.
and they've changed that for those who haven't played WoW in a while. Like they've changed that to where it's like you have bubbles, but you have to deal damage to heal. So it's kind of like Sage in a way.
Mm.
Um, and now there's not like a pure bubble class in WoW. And
Right.
I miss that because that was one of my favorite healers to play. And so like
Yeah.
that's what Scholar feels like. It's like you have like 3 or 4 healing buttons and then like just a crap ton of cooldowns.
Yeah.
And I like the way
Yeah.
that it plays a lot. So Reaver says you love Tonberries because according to the lore, they were transformed lawless. Yeah.
What?
Yeah. That's anything having to do with lawless. I love my lawless. So it's so
Played
funny because
Lala for a week and I had to switch back.
was that a dare from a stream or something?
Yeah, it was a dare. It was I did it was so stupid. If you laugh, you lose to like a Mad Because Small video, the Osada Spiders videos.
Oh,
I was I was trying to not laugh during one of those and failed terribly. So I had to do the Lalafell with like the eyebrows and everything.
oh, geez.
Yeah,
So it
good.
lasted a week. What's funny is
A
because
week.
I spent I don't know how many Fantasia I've used in this game, but like I was a Hure for a good bit of Shadowbringers. I was also a Mikote for a good bit of Shadowbringers. I've been a Row. I don't think I've ever been it's a Zayla. No, that's one of the Aura. I've never been an Aura.
Yeah.
And I don't think I've never been a Vieira. I was a Hrothgar for a little while. I thought I was going to be a Hrothgar and like just play and look like Beast from X-Men the whole time because Beast is one of my favorite X-Men. And that got kind of tiring really fast. And
Yep.
the funny thing is like Lala was the first race that I played in this game because I
And
wanted
you
to be
went
like
back.
I
Yeah.
wanted to be a little mini mage like that. Like I was a thaumaturge black mage. Like I wanted to be a little like Vivi clone is what I wanted to do.
Vivi.
And
Yeah, yeah.
it's funny. Like every time I used a Fantasia, I was like, this is the thing I'm going to like more this time. And I'm finally going to find like who my character is. And for some reason, I think it was because like, whenever you're doing Castrum and like doing the epic cutscenes and this and that, and like your Lala, like Lala walks up to
Swaddle.
yeah,
Yeah.
Lala walks up to Gaius and other people, you know, and you're like trying to be super serious. I was always like, this doesn't feel epic enough, you know, like, but I loved being a Lala.
Yeah.
And eventually I was just like, screw it. I love being a Lala. I can deal
Yeah.
with like the silliness of like the Lala waddle and these epic
Yeah.
cutscenes and stuff like that. And now that I've embraced it, I've been sitting on a Fantasia that I have just because I bought a pack, you know, and I'm like, I
Yeah.
really want to just give it to somebody. Like I really wish
Mm.
like Yoshi
Give
would let me
away.
just
Oh,
trade
yeah,
it
you
to
can't
somebody, but you
though.
can't. Yeah, and I understand why,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I'm never using that Fantasia. So because I have found and self-actualized as my true self.
I feel the same. Like I have no like desire to Fantasia, if
Yeah.
that makes sense. Like I think I'm just McCody, like and like our free company is Black Cats Parade. And I'm like, I can't not be in my McCody, like because I'm like the black cat of the Black Cats Parade sort of thing. So like if I'm not a McCody, it just doesn't make sense,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know?
Fox says
Makes sense.
also as a Lala, you can split your house into multiple floors using lofts. Yep. We fit into small
True.
places.
Yep.
Let's see here. Dante says was always a healer caster, never had TP problems. Let's see. Yeah, it's I don't know. Like it's funny because I've got a script and I took a long break because I just needed time away from like burnout and everything else. But and I just played a bunch of different games, which was really it really like helped recenter me and get me back in a good place. But I had a
Nice.
script written for and I'm still gonna make the video, but I had a script. I might update the script a little bit for the top 5 reasons I left WoW for Final Fantasy 14.
Yeah, I'd
And
love to watch that.
and number 1, so like community is obviously in that list and it's very high up.
Yeah.
But number 1, surprisingly, and it's probably not going to change, but my thought process on it is number 1 is the one character model. I couldn't
Mm.
I can't express like how important that is to me, like while
Yeah.
playing this game, that and how much stuff it does. Like if loot drops and it's for an alt job, it's never wasted because it can always go to something else or it can always
Yep.
go to glam. Um,
Yep.
and when I think one of the reasons like why every time I log into WoW and I've resubbed for 3 weeks now and I've only played for like 2.5 hours is because I never feel like it's me in that game. And I think that's so important in an
Yeah,
MMO.
I've talked about this as well. Yeah, you feel
Yeah.
like you need that attachment with your character. Like you build a relationship with your own character, like with that
Mhm.
being like your main and everything. Where like with WoW, you're always switching. You don't have that connection with your like online character, if that makes
Yeah.
sense.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's a role playing game, so that's obviously a
Yeah.
really core important part of it.
Yeah.
But like it makes the MSQ better because you know that this is like the one time, unless you choose to do it again, like through the New Game Plus. But like this is the one time, pretty much, that you're going to
Mm.
do the MSQ. So savor it and enjoy it. This is
Yeah.
like nothing goes to waste in dungeons. You feel more immersed as your character, and every bit of progress counts. Like everything you do
Yeah, I love
adds
that.
to something.
Yeah.
Whereas when you're constantly logging in and out of characters, like you never feel any attachment to it. And then you redo the campaign 3 times, 4 or 5 times, or in my case, because I was a psycho, 12 times with all your different classes
Mm.
in WoW.
Reputation as well.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Reputation. Oh God. Like, it's unbelievable like how much that one design choice makes
Yeah.
this game so much better, in my opinion,
Yeah.
than World of Warcraft. As someone who, I'm a person that cares deeply about the story, so like that obviously plays a big role in it. But you know, it's just constant progress, right? Like constant progress. Nothing goes to waste. You didn't do your weekly raid to only get nothing and feel like you're never making any progress on anything because you just can't get random drops. And
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I think that's why I might change, because I did quit WoW for Final Fantasy 14, but I might change the title of that video to top 5 reasons why Final Fantasy 14 ruined WoW for me.
Yeah.
Because quite frankly, it's so nice. But let's see here. Calvin said Final Fantasy 14 is acceptable to be horny because everything is hot. Have you seen
Yes.
I think that's part of it. I don't know. Like I don't think that's a huge deal, right? Like,
Did you see my meme that I posted like a while ago?
No.
It was like an aura next to the new like dragonfly races, the dragons.
Oh God.
And there's like the girl they tell you not to worry about or something. It's
Yeah.
like you and them. Dude, someone like got super offended by it. It's like, why are people trying to break up the WoW and Final Fantasy community? I'm like, dude, it's just a meme. Like,
Right.
dude, I
I
have
mean,
to show you.
the one memes, I think you can share your screen on here if it lets you.
I can link it to in Discord so I don't break anything.
Okay. We'll pull it up here in just a second.
How long ago did I make this meme? Where'd it go?
I gotta go to Discord.
I'm still finding it.
It makes me think too, the hilarious stuff that goes on in like the WoW versus 14 like meme community and everything too. The one that cracks me up is like whenever someone calls 14 a furry game, I'm like, are you sure? Because like, I mean, because Asmon's joked about this too, where he's like, this is the level of being a furry, and like a Mikote is just like ears and a tail, right? Like, but then like you look at WoW and it's like there are literal like small fox people running around and cow people, and it's like werewolves, like full on werewolves, like which I guess is like Hrothgar in a way. I mean, Hrothgar's not a wolf, but you know what I mean. Like it's that same kind of fantasy.
Hrothgar is the closest thing. Yeah, I sent you the tweet.
Let's see here. Let me.
People got so offended. It's like it literally got removed off Reddit because people like, we don't want this to bring like a war between the two communities.
Just give me a second. I'll pull it up on stream here. So.
Oh man.
Right here.
Like it's just a meme.
Share. There you go. You versus the girl he tells you not to worry about. So, I mean,
I cracked up so much when I saw those models. I was like, no, what is that? I know it's like everyone's like, it's early access, you know. I'm like, yeah, fair enough. But just the difference of aesthetics is just so intense.
Graphically, it's hard to go back to. Like it's a very different aesthetic. Like some like the orcs and stuff like look really cool.
That's true. Yeah.
And the undead look great and everything. But then like there's sometimes where they just do something in WoW and you're just like, what the hell is that? But I can see like if someone doesn't like an anime art aesthetic, like looking at 14 is probably like horrible to them, you know?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So first time using Restream for these broadcasts. So
doing good.
Let's see here. Captain Grimm's video on that was hilarious. Oh no, dropping truth bombs here. But yes, I will fight anyone to the death. Like WoW is definitely a more furry game than 14, in my opinion. So, and that's coming from someone who played WoW for 16 years. So, all right. Well, I think that's probably a good place to end. Let's just end on memeing on WoW.
Yeah,
a little
good
bit.
Memes. Yeah.
Sounds appropriate for my channel, right? But yeah, I'm going to be making a lot more content, moving forward. So hope that you all stick around for that. And I've got some memes and some social experiments kind of planned for WoW versus 14, since that seems to be a core part of my channel. No matter how much I try to escape it from time to time, I think I just keep falling back into it because I think it's.
I mean, you love talking about it. Do you know what I mean? Like, I feel you really passionate about the differences and everything.
I mean, it's WoW. I have a Thrall statue and I have the Sylvanas statue. I have a Doom hammer, like it's still sitting over there.
Yeah.
I have the Lich King helm. Like it was. It's gonna sound kind of sad. It was a core part of my being for.
Yeah.
I would say going back to Warcraft 3. So going back to when I was in high school or younger.
Yeah.
Around the time when I was like first able to drive. I remember because I ended up buying a friend Warcraft 3. I was like, you're gonna play this. So I mean that
That's
that
so
that
cute.
world and
Yeah.
that universe was just so important to me. It was like I loved that game. I loved Final Fantasy series, but it was always, there's always a new story in Final Fantasy to do. And this is the first time I've really delved into a Final Fantasy MMO
Yeah,
um,
same.
for the last, couple years. And yeah, I mean, WoW is just such a big part of my life that it's just hard for me to leave behind. And I'm hoping, I'm hoping that as my channel, I keep experimenting and having fun and doing different types of content. I hope that I might try out some things that aren't just like 14 or Final Fantasy or WoW related. Potentially, I might end up doing some stuff doing some stuff around like some other games that I've been playing and passionate about. So like I like Fortnite a lot. Sorry, I'm definitely not going to turn this channel into a Fortnite channel, but like I might do some like comparisons between some of the different things. Like I have this idea in my head because it's something I think that recentered me a little bit when I really started to think about it, especially when I started to play Apex over the summer because EA's EA's like on the top of like the evil game corporations.
Mm.
And yet I was still playing the game. And as much as I would like to think like that we can boycott them all and we can change things for the better, sometimes it's just like you're fighting against a giant gargantuan. And the only thing that you can really do is just call it out and choose to play what you want to play and not really worry about, whatever else someone else is doing. If something feels wrong to you, then don't support it,
Yeah.
and I have this idea. I have to write a script to do this one because I can't just ramble about this forever. I might on the show one day, but I have this idea for a video that's it's going to be called like every video game company is evil. Because at the end of the day, I kind of think that that's true. And
Yeah.
even Square Enix does, some bad stuff. And while Yoshi P and people, I think, really have the player's best interest at hearts, Square Enix themselves, not always. I don't think they're the worst. I don't think they're,
Yeah, I don't think they're the worst by far.
not by
Yeah.
a far margin, right? I think EA is far worse, and so is Activision Blizzard. But
Yeah.
but you even look at some of the other things that some of the other game companies have done throughout our history. Like Nintendo's made some really like weird, shady decisions, or especially like when they closed down like the Wii U shop or the Wii shop, and like people's
Yeah.
purchases were just no longer available and stuff like that. So, even our favorite game companies, have done bad things, and done things that were
Yeah.
anti-consumer. And I think the only way that, we can draw awareness to it is just to talk about it.
Mm.
So
Yeah, I think so too.
I kind of want to be a consumer advocate and just stand up against the man as best as I can, because I think that there is a lot of shady things, especially when they weaponize psychology against people.
Mm.
That's when it gets a bit too far for me. And that's where I'm
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
no more. So especially Diablo Immortal. I think that's a perfect example of gone too far.
You all have phones, right?
Yeah. You all can spend like $40,000 to get, your character fully capped out for it to only be completely negated the next patch, right? I don't know.
Sigh.
All right. Well, care to give everyone your social information so they can follow you on all your different platforms, including your main one, which is, Twitch and YouTube. So
My
go
Twitch,
for it.
yes. Well, I'm Sarah Jane on YouTube, on Twitch, Sarah Jane AFK on Twitter and Instagram, and my TikTok too, I'm pretty sure. Or is it Sarah Jane TTV on TikTok? I don't know. You'll find it somewhere. I have a website linked on my Twitter account, so that's got link to everything.
Yeah, just make sure
Yeah,
you
it
search
was
Sarah
lovely, yeah.
Jane AFK or Sarah Jane FF14 so that you don't get a bunch of Doctor Who stuff. So,
Yeah, no, it'd be awesome to see you guys around for sure.
yeah. And thanks so much for being a guest on this relaunch of this live version of the Popoto Pub.
Yeah, no, it's a pleasure. Thank you so much for asking me again. Straight away, I was like, yeah, no, I had so much fun the first time. So yeah, I'm down.
And you down there in the chat and anyone else who's listened to this after the fact, let me know if you like this new live format for the show, if you want us to keep doing it. I would love to keep doing it and kind of interacting with everyone who's able to attend, having different guests on the show and talking with you all. It's been a real pleasure tonight, and I've had a lot of fun with it. So, but if it's not something you all like, tell me so we can do the best thing that we can for the show moving forward. So yeah. All right. Well, anyone out there, have a great rest of your day. Make sure to follow me here on YouTube. I also have a Twitch, though I might be closing that down soon. Follow me on Twitter, join the Popoto Pub Discord so that we can all chat, outside of these times, and make sure to smash that like button, leave us a comment. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. So, all right.
Yay.
Well, that's it for today. So lolly ho, everyone, and peace out.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Popoto Pub. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe for more episodes. Take care, everyone, and peace out.